creation of time, before the heavens stretched across the endless void, there existed only the eternal divine presence, the hidden light from which all existence emerged. Humanity wandered through centuries, searching for the meaning of life, the mystery of the soul, and the path that leads to God. Kingdoms rose and vanished, religions spread across the earth, and countless seekers devoted their lives to discovering the ultimate truth hidden behind the veil of the universe. This film journeys into the spiritual revelations and mystical teachings shared by His Holiness Gohar Shahi, a universal savior and a guide for humanity in the age of spiritual darkness. Through divine wisdom, hidden spiritual sciences, and the awakening of the soul, the film explores the forgotten connection between mankind and the Creator. As the universe expands across infinite galaxies, a deeper mystery unfolds, the mystery of primordial souls, divine love, and the eternal remembrance of God engraved within the human heart. Ancient spiritual paths, celestial knowledge, and sacred secrets buried through time begin to unveil themselves. The heart becomes the doorway to higher realms, where light overcomes darkness and divine love transcends all worldly divisions. From the depths of cosmic creation to the awakening of the human soul, this cinematic spiritual odyssey reveals a vision of unity, peace, and transcendence. It is a story of seekers, divine signs, mystical enlightenment, and the eternal search for God's nearness. In a world divided by fear and separation, one message echoes throughout the heavens and the earth. The true religion of the soul is the love of God. The religion of God, divine love, untold mysteries and secrets of God, His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi. Forward. It is a very responsible thing to translate the Holy Scripture from its original language into modern speech. Translating the Holy Scripture means rendering into another language the thoughts and sayings of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. The Holy Scripture, religion of God, is a long-awaited and divine medicine for the restive hearts and dormant souls. The fundamental concept of the book is divine love, love for all and hatred for none. The translator of the Holy Scripture, Mir Liaquat Ali of the United States of America, whose fear and love of the divine author, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi of the Holy Scripture, feels towards him a special responsibility to transmit his thoughts and declarations as accurately as possible. Mir Liaquat Ali also feels a responsibility towards the searching readers who depend upon a translation of the inspired word for their everlasting salvation and enlightenment. The reader of this Holy Scripture will realize that these teachings benefit all human beings. It will spring hope from the human breast for an eternal life. It will also help you judge the personality of the author and his manifestation. The appearance of the images of His Divine Eminence on the moon, the sun, Mars, and various other places has already been verified by many organizations. It also signifies His grandeur and majesty. People belonging to different religions and faiths, having been enlightened through His spiritual grace, and having found His images on the moon, the sun, Mars, in temples, in Hajar al-Aswad, Muslims' sacred place in Mecca, have known Him to be the promised Messiah, the awaited Mehdi, and Kalki avatar. We are very happy and satisfied to present this divine gift to the aspiring hearts. This book is also available online at www.goharshahi.com and www.goharshahi.gs. Yunus Al-Gohar, London, England. Preface. Manifestation of the images of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi on the moon, the sun, holy black stone, Shiv temple, and various other locations led a multitude of the Muslims and non-Muslims to profess and believe the fact that it is His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, who is the awaited Imam Mehdi, promised Messiah, and Kalki avatar, prophesied in various scriptures. We welcome and encourage you to examine the person of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi. We invite you to contact us for inquiry and research. You may also try and recognize him through the study of his books. Yunus al-Gohar, London, England. Observations. The preface above is by Yunus al-Gohar, who is the appointed representative of His Divine Eminence, Ra Riaz Gohar Shahi. The contents of the preface draw the attention of the readers to the Mehdihood of His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi. It is an indirect approach to promote the truth and factual evidence that His Divine Eminence, Ra Riaz Gohar Shahi, is the awaited Imam Mehdi. Many people wonder why His Divine Eminence, Ra Riaz Gohar Shahi, did not announce his divinely ordained office of Mehdihood. His Divine Eminence often says that the true fragrance speaks for itself, and it does not require to be pointed out by the bearer. Pakistan's cruel laws about Imam Mehdi have not helped anyone to be aware of the false claimants of Mehdihood. However, these laws have proved to discourage the true Mehdi. To verify the said status of whom God manifests His signs in the horizons and in the very beings of humankind. Prophet Muhammad did not propagate Islam openly until Umar bin Khattab joined him. Similarly, His Divine Eminence affirms, Imam Mehdi has kept a low profile and did not proclaim his Mehdihood because he too, like Prophet Muhammad, awaits an Umar bin Khattab in this era. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi further said that Imam Mehdi would not announce his Mehdihood, but the close followers of Imam Mehdi would recognize him on account of heart enlightenment they have obtained from His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Many titles, one personality, Imam Mehdi, promised Messiah, and Kalki avatar. It should be carefully understood that the awaited one is known by various titles. Some of the pseudo-claimants of Mehdihood have made hilarious claims and have gone far off the basics and mental lucidity in appointing themselves to be the awaited one. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani has to prove Jesus Christ dead in order to replace him, thus, to be able to claim to be the awaited Mahdi and also the newly born Jesus Christ. His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi. This is that Gohar Shahi, who in particular secluded himself for 3 years in the mountains of Siwan and in the Lal Bagh, in austerity and spiritual self-discipline, all for the sake of God's love. His Divine Eminence initiated thousands of people onto the mystical path through purification and heart invocation, and motivated a multitude of people to obtain divine love. People of all religions invited His Divine Eminence for spiritual lectures to mosques, Hindu temples, churches, and Sikh temples, and acquired heart invocation by His Divine Eminence. Countless men and women repented and inclined towards God, inspired by His Divine Eminence's teachings. His spiritual grace restored health in countless individuals who suffered from incurable ailments. Then, God manifested the face of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi on the moon. Later, His Divine Eminence's image became visible in the holy black stone also. He became famous throughout the world. Radical clerics and the Muslims who begrudged the Sufis did not like His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi. They tampered with the text of His Divine Eminence's books, trying to find a pretext to have issued fatwas of death and kufr, rejection. His residence in Manchester, United Kingdom, was bombed. A hand grenade was aimed at him whilst His Divine Eminence addressed disciples in Kotri, Pakistan. A huge amount of money was declared on his head. His Divine Eminence was trapped in 5 different false cases in Pakistan. The government of Sindh became a party against His Divine Eminence because of Nawaz Sharif's enmity towards His Divine Eminence. 2 cases of alleged murder, 1 case that of possession of illegal arms, and another case of illegal possession of land, were instigated against His Divine Eminence. In the USA, His Divine Eminence was trapped in a false case of felony and illegal detention of a woman. Yellow journalism left no stone unturned in defaming and dishonoring him. Eventually, after the hearing and thorough investigation, all the cases were proved false, and the court acquitted His Divine Eminence as innocent. God protected His friend against all odds. Please find attached the Sindh High Court report of cases against His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi. Important note: failure to the previous false cases, the Satans, radical clerics, instigated yet another false and logical case of PPC 295, claiming to be a prophet, against His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi. In their plots, they earned the favor of the high-rank government officials also. Even the former president of Pakistan, Rafiq Tarar, became a party on account of sectarian prejudice. Because of the pressure from the high officials, the judge announced the verdict against His Divine Eminence. God willing, this false case will be quashed in either High Court or Supreme Court. Observations: sectarian elements in Pakistan entrap His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi in false cases. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi comes from Pakistan, a politically volatile country with majority of Muslims, of which most are extremists and fanatics. Pakistan is the most vulnerable and sensitive place in the South Asian region. The Pakistani Muslims comprise of Shiite, pro-Saudi Wahhabis, and various forms of the Sunni denominations. Most of these denominations are extremists and militants. Wahhabis and Deobandis are financially supported by Saudi Arabia. The Shiite are supported and funded by Iran. All these different denominations are involved in hate preaching and crimes against humanity. They wage war against their opponent denominations within the country, and they are those who promote terrorism across the border. The Wahhabis are well organized and classified in many groups, and each group has been given a different task to accomplish. Tahafuz Khatam-e-Nabuwat is specially assigned to trap Sufis in false cases of blasphemy. Tablighi Jamaat is an evangelical sort of movement which aims to transform all Muslims into their belief system. The Wahhabi denomination has very religiously taken it to persecute, discourage, entrap, and eradicate His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Hence, they instigated various false cases against His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. They have been threatened by the universality of His Divine Eminence's message of divine love and His ever-increasing fame on the global sphere. Introduction by Ra Gohar Shahi. The religions established through celestial scriptures are correct, provided they have not been adulterated. The religions are like sailboats, and the scholars are like sailors. Reaching the destination is difficult if either one is defective. However, the saints do take even the damaged sailboats safely to the shore. People with religious incapacity flock around the saints for this reason. God's love supersedes all the religions, and it is core of all the religions, whereas God's light is the guiding lantern onto the path. There are 3 parts of exoteric knowledge and 1 part of esoteric knowledge, and Kidar, Vishnu Maharaj, dispensed this knowledge. God's love is the means of obtaining God's nearness. Dogs are better than the hearts empty of God's love, because the dogs love their master, and this love earned them the nearness of their master. Otherwise, an unclean dog and a divinely ordained human cannot be compared. If you desire the paradise and its damsels, then worship extensively so as to reach the highest level of the paradise. If you are in search for God, learn spirituality too, so that, through the prescribed divine path, you may obtain union with God. Man, since creation to infinite. As God intended to create souls, He said, "Be," and countless souls came into existence. By and beside God were the souls of the prophets. In the second row were the souls of the saints. And then in the third row were the souls of the faithful ones. They were followed by the souls of common folks. And then, at a distant row that fell beyond God's sight, were created the souls of women, who were followed by the animal, botanical, and mineral souls respectively. Mineral souls were unable to move. On God's right were the angels, followed by the heavenly damsels who were unable to see God's face. For this reason, the angels cannot see God. Behind them were the souls of Muakkal, angel-like creatures, which later came into the world as auxiliary assistants to prophets and saints. To God's left were the souls of the jinns, followed by infernal spirits and evil spirits who aided the Satan in his work after coming into the world. Souls on God's right and left, and those beyond God's sight, could not witness the divine manifestation. This is the reason why jinns, angels, and women may speak with God, but they cannot see God. There was a spheroid of fire in the terrestrial globe. It was commanded to cool down. Thereafter, its fragments scattered in the space. The moon, Mars, Jupiter, Earth, and the stars are all fragmented parts, whereas the sun is the remnant of the spheroid of fire. Initially, Earth was nothing but ashes in the whole. Mineral souls were sent down to consolidate the ashes into stone. Then, botanical spirits were sent down to sprout trees and plantation in the rocks. Thereafter, animals appeared from animal spirits coming to Earth. God further asked all souls if He was their creator. All souls affirmed in positive and prostrated. Even the souls of stones and trees prostrated to God. The stars and the trees prostrated to God. Chapter Rahman, the Quran. Then, God created a modeled world and its luxuries in order to test and examine the souls. And God said, "Should anyone seek it, they may obtain it." Too many souls turned their back on God and leapt towards the modeled luxuries of the world. Therefore, they were declared hell-bound in the book of their fate. Then, God depicted the scene of the paradise, which was better than the latter, and concerned itself with the servitude and obedience. Many souls leapt towards it, and the paradise was written in their fate. Too many souls were indecisive, hence they were placed in between the Lord and the devil. They were entangled between the two when they came in this world. Whoever influenced them first, they became theirs. Many souls fixed their eyes on the divine splendor. They desired none of the world or paradise. God loved them, and they loved God. Such souls, for the sake of God, shunned the world, became recluse, and lived in jungles. To serve the needs of the souls and for their pleasure, 18,000 types of creatures were brought in existence, 6,000 in the sea, 6,000 on the land, and 6,000 in the air and celestial realms. Then God created 7 types of paradise and 7 types of hell. The 7 heavens are Khuld, Darus Salam, Darul Qarar, Eden, Al-Mawa, Naim, and Firdaus. The 7 hells are Sarkar, Sa'ir, Nuta, Hutama, Jahim, Jahannam, and Hawiya. All the above-mentioned names are from Suryani, the language that God speaks with the angels. It is a common tenet in all religions that God may send to hell or heaven whosoever He wishes to. If a soul had been sent to hell from the scene in the primordial time, it would object, "What crime did I commit?" God would say, "You turned away from me and desired the world." The soul would say, "That was merely a decision out of poor intelligence. Nevertheless, I did not act upon it." To settle this argument, the souls were sent down on earth. Adam's, Shankarji, body was created with clay from paradise. In addition to the human soul, some other spirits also were placed in the body. Adam's body was still in the process of creation when the Iblis spat at it out of sheer jealousy. The saliva fell on the belly button. The saliva, along with its germ, entered the body. The Satan is from the nation of the jinns. According to a prophetic tradition, a satanic jinn is born with every man. Similitude of a body is that of a mud house, and there are 16 spirits enclosed within it, in addition to Khanas, the whisperer, and 4 other birds. Substance, in the form of a woman, emerged from the left rib of Adam. A soul was placed in it which came to be known as Eve. Following the forced exit from the paradise, Adam was dropped in Sri Lanka, and Eve was in Jeddah. Thus, the Asian lineage began through them. Hence, the remaining souls also started to descend on earth from the heavens periodically. Institutions in form of religions were established for the training, schooling, and levels of the souls. The souls were then divided into assorted religions, and some others were kept without a religion according to their predestined fate. God-loving souls also came in this world and took birth in Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, and Christian homes. They sought God according to the principles of their religions. For this reason, the elite in all religions adopted hermitage. Some people wrongly project that Islam does not allow hermitage. Prophet Muhammad also went to the cave of Hira. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Khawaja Moinuddin Ajmeri, Data Ali Hajweri, Bari Imam, Baba Farid, Shabaz Kalandar, etc., acquired high mystical ranks only after they had adopted hermitage, and the saints alone are responsible for the widespread of the religion. Roots of man in the world. As soon as a male sperm enters the womb, a mineral spirit arrives to coagulate the blood. The botanical spirit helps it grow. After 4 months of pregnancy, the biospirit, animal spirit, enters the womb, which enables the embryo to move. These spirits are known as the terrestrial spirits. Soon after the baby is delivered, the human soul, along with its subtleties, is inserted in the baby. These are known as the celestial souls. If the baby expires within the womb of the mother before the delivery takes place, a funeral ceremony is not necessary, as it was yet to become a human being. A funeral ceremony is a must in the event that the baby dies just moments after the delivery, because by then, it would have become a human being owing to the arrival of the human soul in him, and the self, nafs, along with its auxiliaries, had settled at the navel point. A man with a stronger mineral spirit likes to live in the mountains. Man's fondness for trees and flowers is due to the botanical spirit in him. Due to the dominance of the biospirit, a fondness of animals and behavior like that of animals develops. The nafs, a satanic jinn, resembles a dog in appearance. With its dominance, man develops dog-like behavior and affection for dogs. With the awakening of the faculty of the heart, a human becomes like an angel. After death, the celestial souls return to the paradise. Celestial souls are assigned to one particular body, whereas the terrestrial spirits, including the nafs, are left behind in this world. The terrestrial spirits, after death, are transferred into another newly born human body. They continue to be reallocated to different human beings. The terrestrial spirits are exempt from the day of judgment and accountability. The cleansed spirits of the nafs stay in the graves to continue to worship God, and also facilitate humanity with spiritual grace. As Prophet Muhammad, on the night of Ascension, passed by the grave of Prophet Moses, he saw him engaged in worship in his grave. When Prophet Muhammad reached the celestial sphere, he saw Prophet Moses was present there too. The dominant nafs of sinners join the groups of Satans for their survival. They enter the bodies of human beings to harm them. Such subtleties of the nafs are thus known as evil spirits. According to the Bible, Jesus used to cast out evil spirits from those who were possessed. After death, the terrestrial spirits and the nafs remain in this world. The human soul enters either in Iliyin or Sijjin, and the Lata'if, the faculties of the human breast, provided they are enlightened, too go to Iliyin. Otherwise, Lata'if are wasted in the grave. Due to the nafs, man became impure. Bulleh Shah said, "The self, nafs, brought along with it impurities in me. Otherwise, I had not been impure originally." For acquisition of the self-mortification, the celestial books were revealed, and the prophets and the saints were sent. The self was made subject to fear of hellfire and was incited with the pleasure of the paradise. Efforts were made through austerities, worship, and Lent so as to tame it. The successful contenders became deserving claimants of the paradise. The elite, however, were able to purify the self by virtue of mystical knowledge, thus becoming God's friends. The doctrine of nafs, the self. It is a satanic cell, and navel point is its abode. All the prophets and saints sought refuge from its mischief. Its diet is phosphorus and bad odor, which is also found in bones, coal, and cow dung. All religions insist on a proper bath after copulation because unpleasant odor releases through skin pores during sexual activity. Malodorous drinks and animal meat also are prohibited for consumption. On the day of Azal, primordial, all souls in front of God up to the mineral souls became acquainted with each other and united. The man, inspired by the mineral soul in him, built homes from stones, and he made roofs of homes with the wood of trees, inspired by the botanical soul in him. He benefited himself from the cool shadows of the trees also. The trees provided him with pure oxygen. Biospirits from the rear row that became animals in this world were declared lawful for consumption by the man. In addition to these, the birds from the same category also were made lawful for consumption. On the left side were created jinns and infernal spirits, followed by evil spirits, which, in the end, became God's enemies. And the animal, botanical, and mineral spirits that appeared from behind evil spirits developed enmity against human beings. Mineral spirits from this category caused the ashes of earth to turn into coal, the gas from which was harmful for human beings. The botanical spirits from this category brought into existence dangerous, thorny, and man-eating trees. With the animal spirits from this category, man-eating animals and beasts were created, and the birds from the same category, owing to their attribute of enmity against human beings, were declared as unlawful. These birds can be recognized by their trait of eating food with their claws. The souls at God's right were appointed as servants to human beings, message carriers, and helpers. The man was elevated in eminence above all, and was appointed as God's vicegerent. Now it depends on the man, his willingness, efforts, and fate whether he accepts the vicegerency or he rejects it. In dreams, the nafs leaves the body and joins evil gatherings of the jinns in the person's guise. Nafs is accompanied by the khanas. It resembles an elephant. It sits in between the nafs and the qalb, the heart. It assists the nafs to misguide the man. In addition to this, yet another 4 birds also get clung to the 4 souls of the breast to misguide the man. For example, the cockerel is clung to the heart, qalb, which causes lust to prevail in the heart. With zikr qalb, invocation of the heart, the cockerel is cleansed of lust. Hence, it begins to differentiate between prohibitions, haram, and permissible, halal. This is known as a secured heart, qalb salim. The crow is clung to Siri, and Siri is afflicted by greed. The peacock is clung to Kafi, and Kafi is afflicted by jealousy. The pigeon is clung to Akfa, and Akfa is afflicted by stinginess. The traits of these birds compel the souls of the breast to adopt greed and jealousy until the souls are enlightened. These 4 birds were taken out from Abraham's body, purified and placed back in his body. After the demise of purified individuals, these birds begin to dwell on trees. Individuals who spend certain amount of time in jungles for austerity learn to imitate the voice of these birds, as a result of which these birds become familiar with them, and they help them with healing minor diseases. An important anecdote: nafs belongs to the Satan. All the 5 souls of the human breast are related to the 5 grand prophets respectively. Ana belongs to God. Similarly, the body is related to the perfect spiritual guide. Whichever soul is not connected with the concerned is deprived of its spiritual grace. The subtlety of qalb. The prophethood and the knowledge concerning Qalb was granted to Adam, Safi Allah. The fleshy heart is known as Dil in Urdu and Fawad in Arabic. The spiritual faculty clung to the physical heart is known as Qalb. The prophethood and knowledge pertaining to the faculty of Qalb was granted to Adam. According to a prophetic tradition, the heart is different from the faculty of Qalb. This phenomenal world is known as Nasut, the terrestrial realm. Besides this, there are other realms also, such as Malakut, the realm of angels, Ankabut, the realm of God's throne, Jabrut, the realm of souls, station of Gabriel, Lahut, the realm of nothingness, Wadat, the realm of divine unity, and Adiyat, the realm of divine oneness. These realms and the creatures thereof pre-existed the explosion of the spheroid of fire in the terrestrial realm of Nasut. The angels and the souls were created simultaneously. However, the archangels and the subtleties of the breast, Lataif, already existed in these realms. Subsequently, creatures inhabited many planets in the realm of Nasut. Some of the planets have been annihilated, and the rest await their end. The archangels and the subtleties of the breast were created 70,000 years prior to the command, Be of the souls. Qalb was kept within the place of love, and through Qalb, man is supposed to be connected with God. Similitude of Qalb is like that of the telephone operator between man and God. Man receives the divine reason and revelation through Qalb. Footnote: a dalil, the divine argument/reason, is always accompanied by ilham, inspiration. Ilham is not authentic if it is not accompanied by a dalil. The worship of all the subtleties of the breast, Lataif, reaches the empyrean of God, Arsh-e-Bala, through Qalb. However, Qalb does not have access beyond the realm of Malakut. Its destination is Khuld. Its mode of worship and its method of saying the rosary both lie within the human anatomy. Those that earned paradise but were unaware of this inner worship would regret it in the paradise, because God says, "Do they perceive that God would equal them with the pious ones?" Because those with the enlightened Qalb would continue to remember in the paradise. Footnote: Khuld is the lowest grade of the paradise. Worship of the body ends after demise. The unenlightened subtleties of the breast, including the Qalb, would either stay weak or decay in the graves. The enlightened and powerful ones would enter the place of Illiyin. Subsequent to the day of judgment, new bodies will be given to all. These subtleties, along with the human soul, will be placed in the bodies of immortal saints who saw God in the phenomenal world. Those who managed to revive their subtleties and remembered God in this world would remember God in the hereafter also. Consequently, their level and ranks would be constantly promoted. Those whose hearts were blind here, they would remain blind in the hereafter also. This phenomenal world is the place of practice for deeds and actions. So, they would become stagnant in terms of performance of good deeds. The Christians, the Jews, and the Hindus also are aware of the subtleties. The Hindu term for the subtleties is Shaktiyan Indariyan, and the Muslim term for them is Lataif. Qalb is located on the left of the heart 2 inches away, and its color is yellow. Consequent to its revival, man begins to observe and feel yellowish light in the eyes. Some spiritual mentors also heal people with colors. Most people regard the counseling of their heart to be truthful. The Qalb of a common man is senseless, snowbar. Its counseling may be influenced by its naivety, the whisperer, kanas, or the self, nafs. Therefore, it may err in judgment. Reliance on a Qalb, a snowbar, senseless heart, is folly. When the heart is revived with God's remembrance, it begins to differentiate between good and bad and gains sensibility. This is known as Qalb-e-Salim, the secured heart. Due to the abundance of God's remembrance, it is turned and directed towards God. This is known as Qalb-e-Munib, the heart turned to God. It is able to prevent the man from the committance of vice. However, it still lacks the power of correct decision. It turns to Qalb-e-Shahid, the witnessing heart, when God's light begins to fall upon it. A prophetic tradition relates, divine merciful sight descends upon broken hearts and broken graves. At this moment, undoubtedly, submit to whatever comes from the heart, as theophanies turn nafs also into mutmaina, the divinely content self. God is then closer to him than his jugular vein. At this stage, God then declares, I become his tongue with which he speaks, and I become his hands with which he holds. The human soul. The prophethood and the knowledge concerning the soul was granted to Abraham. The human soul is near to the right side of the breast. It is awakened by loud chanting and visualization of God's name upon it. Consequently, a throb-like movement becomes prominent at it also. The name Ya Allah is synchronized with this subtlety. Now, two subtleties are engaged in God's remembrance. Such a person's spiritual status is greater than that of those who only revive their heart. The soul is dark red in color, revival of which renders access to the realm of Jabrut. Wrath and anger are attached to it, which transform into majesty by the divine heat. The subtlety of Siri, secret. The prophethood and the knowledge concerning Siri was granted to Moses. This is located between the left side of the breast and the center of the chest. It is revived by loud chanting and visualization of the name Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum. Its color is white. It reaches Lahut, the realm of nothingness, through dreams and spiritual journey. With the addition of this subtlety, now three of them are engaged in God's remembrance, and the rank of such a person is further increased. The subtlety of Kafi, arcane. Its prophethood and knowledge was granted to Jesus Christ. This subtlety is towards the right of the breast from the center of the chest. It is revived by loud chanting of the name Ya Wahid. It is green in color. It reaches Wadat, the realm of divine unity. Now four of them are engaged in God's remembrance, and the rank of such a person is further increased. The subtlety of Akfa, obscure. Its prophethood and knowledge was granted to Muhammad. This subtlety is in the center of the chest. It is revived by loud chanting of the name Ya Ahad. It is violet in color. It also is related to the veil in the realm of Wadat, the realm of divine unity, behind which is the throne of God. The knowledge of the five subtleties of the breast was granted to the five grand messengers categorically. Half a portion of the knowledge of each subtlety was transferred to the saints from these grand messengers. There were thus 10 parts of the esoteric knowledge, and the saints then transmitted this knowledge to the elite. The knowledge of the exterior, the physical body, and utterance of the tongue all relate to the realm of Nasut and the Nafs. This is for common folks. Its knowledge is stored in scripture, which has 30 chapters. The esoteric knowledge also was granted to the prophets through revelation, Wahi. Hence, it is also known as the esoteric scripture. Sometimes the esoteric knowledge would slip out of Muhammad's tongue in public, that which was confined to the elite only. Therefore, some of the verses of the Quran would later be abrogated. This inner knowledge was practiced and carried on from one heart to another in the chain of saints. Now this knowledge has been made accessible to the common folks also through books. The subtlety of Ana. It is located in the head and is colorless. Zikr, remembrance of Yahu, is its culmination. It having gained spiritual strength, reaches and sees God unveiled and manages to speak with God. This is the station of divine lovers. Besides this, some of God's favorites are also conferred on them other special divine spirits, such as Tifle e Nuri, Spirit of God's light, and Jusa e Tawfiq e Ilahi, Spirit of God. Understanding such elites is beyond the power of intellect. Through the subtlety of Ana, God can be seen in dreams. Through the Jusa e Tawfiq e Ilahi, divine subspirit, God can be seen in transcendental meditation, Muraqiba, and those that possess Tifle Nuri, God's image gifted to the elite of the elite, which are only 7 in total, and they are known as Sultan al-Fukra, see God in the state of consciousness. The world knows them as the might of God. They may, on their accord, convey anyone to the Maqam Mahmud, the station of praise and glory, either through worship, austerities, or through their merciful glance. Believer or disbeliever, dead or alive, matters not in their eyes. Just as a thief became a saint with a single merciful glance of Abdul Qadir Jilani, Abu Bakr Hawari, and Manga Daku also became saints following a glance from such elites. All 5 of the grand messengers were, categorically, given knowledge pertaining to the subtlety they belonged to. Hence, spirituality continued to grow in strength and quality. Whichever subtlety you will revive and engage with God's remembrance, you will deserve to obtain grace of the concerned grand messenger and will be connected with him. Whichever subtlety comes under the theophanies of God, you will be granted sainthood concerning that particular subtlety. Access to the 7 realms and acquisition of different grades in the 7 paradises are also through the subtleties of the breast. Functions of subtleties in the human body. Subtlety of Akfa, the obscure. It enables the man to speak. Without it, the man is mute, lacking the faculty of speech by birth, even with a sound tongue. The difference between man and animal is on account of these subtleties. If the subtlety of Akfa does not enter the body at the time of birth for any reason, bringing it in the body was the duty of the concerned messenger. Then, the mute would begin to speak. Subtlety of Siri, the secret. It enables man to see. In case this subtlety is absent in man at the time of birth, he is confirmed blind. Bringing it into the body was the duty of the concerned grand messenger. The sight, then, is restored to the blind men also, the subtlety of Qalb, the heart. If this is absent in the body, similitude of the man is like that of an animal, unacquainted with God and distant from him. He lacks sentiments and hunger for God. The task of bringing it back into the body was assigned to the concerned grand messengers only. Later, the wonders and miracles of the prophets in form of saintly marvels were granted to the saints also. As the missing subtlety is returned to the body through a prophet or a saint, even the deaf, the mute, and blind are healed. The subtlety of Ana. The man is mentally impaired due to its absence in the body, even if the nerves of the brain seem to function normally. The subtlety of Kafi, the arcane. Its absence in the body leaves the man deaf, even if all the ear holes are opened wide. Physical flaw also shows a similar syndrome, in which case it is curable. However, medical help does not serve the purpose in case the concerned subtleties are absent in the body, unless a prophet or a saint extends his help. The subtlety of Nafs, the self. Through Nafs, the human heart is inclined towards the world and its contents, whereas the subtlety of Qalb steers the man towards God. The word Allah. God communicates with the angels in Suryani, which is spoken in the celestial spheres. Adam spoke the same language while he was in paradise. When Adam, Safi Allah, and Eve descended on earth, they resided in the Arab region. This language, as their progeny spread in the world, through Arabic, Persian, and Latin, reached English through literal evolution. people called God with different names in different languages. Adam resided in the Arab region. Therefore, so many Suryani words are still present in the Arabic language. Adam was known as Adam Safi Allah. The word Safi Allah is from Suryani. Noah was called as Nuh Nabi Allah. Abraham was called as Ibrahim Khalil Allah. Then Moses as Musa Kalim Allah. Jesus as Isa Ruh Allah. And Muhammad as Muhammad Rasul Allah. All these phrases, mottos, were already written on the preserved scripturum in the Suryani language prior to the arrival of these prophets in the world. This is why Muhammad said that he had already been a prophet before his arrival in this world. Some people perceive the word Allah is a Muslim name for God. This is not true. Muhammad's father's name was Abd Allah, which predates Islam. The word Allah, even before Islam, has been used in mottos of all prophets. After their creation, the first word the souls uttered was Allah. Adam's soul also uttered Ya Allah before it entered his body. Some religions understand the truth behind this secret. Therefore, they do not hesitate to use the word Allah for God's remembrance. Some others deprive themselves of the grace of the word Allah due to doubts and reservations to its truthfulness. Any name alluding to God is worthy of respect, and it directs one towards God. However, these names differ in effectiveness. According to numerology and syllable laws, every word has a separate numerical value. This also is one of the many types of heavenly knowledge. These units encompass the entire creation. Sometimes, these units are in disagreement with each other according to the knowledge of astronomy. This leaves the man under worry and stress. Many people, seeking zodiac charts from the experts of this knowledge, name the newborn. Just as the Arabic alphabets, for example, have a numeric value 10. Similarly, every name has a 4, 3, 2, 1 separate numeric value. When God was called upon by different names, these names became a cause of disharmony with each other according to alphabetical knowledge. Had all humanity called upon God by one name, all would have been united inwardly despite different religions. Then they would say, as did Nanak Sahib and Baba Farid, all souls are created with God's light. However, their environment and their vicinities are separate. The angels are taught languages of the world before they are deployed in the world. It is necessary for the members of all nations of the prophets that they repeat the declaration of their respective faith, as it was granted by God for purification, identity, and grace in the original language at the time of the particular prophet. Affirmation of the declaration of faith is a must for all to adopt a religion. Verbal vows, as in the marriage, are mandatory for admission into paradise also. But in the Western countries, most Muslims and Christians are not aware of the original wording of their declaration of faith and the original name of their prophets. Those who confine themselves to verbal affirmation of the declaration of faith, they scare spiritual deeds of the heart, amal-i salihah. And those who do not affirm the declaration even verbally, they shall not enter the paradise. And those only shall enter the paradise without accountability, whose hearts absorb the declaration of faith. The celestial books in their original form only serve as a means to convene the aspirants to God. But when the celestial books and their translations were tampered with, just as adulterated flour is harmful to the stomach, similarly, these altered books became harmful to the religions. Thus, the followers of one religion and one prophet were divided into many sects. For acquisition of the Sirat al-Mustaqim, the divinely established path, seek guidance through Nur, God's light also. The method of producing divine light. In the olden days, fire used to be produced from the method of rubbing stones together. The rubbing of iron objects together also produces a spark. The splashing of water also produces electricity. Similarly, in human beings, the circulating blood, meaning the throbbing of the heart, also produces electricity. A human body possesses 1 to 1.5 volts of electricity, which sustains agility in him. The electricity and agility is lessened in the old age due to the falling speed of throbs. Initially, the heartbeats have to be made prominent. Aspirants have utilized various methods, such as dancing, sports activity, exercise workout, and through loud chanting with strike of God's name also. As the heartbeats get prominent, try to synchronize Allah, Allah with every beat, or Allah with one heartbeat and Hu with the other. Place your hand on the heart sometimes, feel your heartbeats, and try to synchronize the name Allah. Occasionally, synchronize Allah with the pace of the pulse. Imagine the word Allah is entering your heart. Zikr of Allahu is better and more effective than that of Zikr Allah. Those reluctant and afraid of Hu instead of deprivation, they might as well synchronize just Allah in their heartbeats. People of Dakuriya, science of God's remembrance, and Weirdo Wadhaif, verbal chanting with the rosary, ought to stay as clean as possible. Those who show respect, they obtain the benevolence, and those who don't show respect, they remain deprived. The first method. On a piece of paper, write the word Allah with a black pen or pencil for as long as you feel comfortable. Do this exercise every day. One day, the word Allah will begin to float before your eyes. Then, try to bring it in your heart from the eyes through visualizing it. The second method. Write the word Allah in a yellow color on a white bulb, 0 watt, a type of bulb that we normally use at nighttime in bedrooms. Try to absorb it in your eyes by looking at it any time during the day or just before you sleep. Once it is absorbed within your eyes, visualize it to bring it in your heart. The third method. This method is suitable for those that carry out this practice under the guidance of a spiritual guide and acquire spiritual help from their guide due to their spiritual relation and connection. Sit in isolation. Use your index finger to visualize and to write the word Allah on your heart. You may as well seek help from your spiritual guide in this matter and visualize he is holding your finger and writing the word Allah on your heart. Practice this daily until the word Allah is seen written on your heart. Through the earlier mentioned methods, Allah is inscribed as seen written outside on the paper. When the word Allah begins to synchronize with the heartbeats, it gradually begins to glitter. Since in this method help of the spiritual guide is available, the word Allah is seen beautifully written and shining on the heart from the beginning. Many prophets and saints came in this world. During loud chanting as a test, you may visualize all prophets and saints one by one. Whoever your destiny is attached with will appear before you. Your heartbeats will rise in chanting, and you will see spiritual growth also. Then, select him for visualization, because every saint is related to a certain prophet in the spiritual system, though a living prophet is not a condition. The destiny of every devout lies with a certain saint. For spiritual benevolence, the spiritual guide must be physically alive. Occasionally, some lucky aspirant is granted Malakuti Faiz from the Kamil Dat, divinely accomplished guide, who is living but not physically. However, it is rare. Verily, the tombs of the departed saints may render mundane benevolence. This is known as Owaisi Faiz. Owaisi Faiz is a form of spiritual training where the guide renders spiritual grace in dreams and by esoteric means, whether or not the guide is living. Aspirants in Owaisi Faiz are often troubled and confused by what they see in dreams, and kashf, spiritual unveiling. This is because their guide is in batin, esoteric realm, and the Satan is also in batin, and it becomes so difficult to recognize who is who. The concerned knowledge is as important as the Faiz, spiritual grace itself, and a living spiritual guide is more suitable. Faiz without the required knowledge will turn the aspirant into a majzub, an enlightened person who lost the intellect in God's love. Faiz accompanied by ilm, the required knowledge, turns the aspirant into a mehboob, beloved of God. Mehboob renders dunyawi faiz, mundane benevolence, and ruhani faiz, spiritual grace and training, to people through his ilm. Whereas the majzub renders dunyawi faiz to people by beating them with sticks and swearing at them. If none in your visualization appears to help you, you might as well turn to His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, for help. Religious affiliation is not mandatory. However, one must not be predestinedly ill-fated. A large number of people may obtain the grace of God's name, initiation of the heart, from the image of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi, on the moon also. The method of obtaining the spiritual grace from the moon. When the full moon is in the east, look Look at it carefully. Say Allah thrice as you see Gohar Shahi's picture on the moon. And now, you are blessed. Now, start the exercise without any worries or fear according to the method mentioned here. Verily, the image of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi on the moon, has spoken with many individuals in all languages. You also may speak with the image on the moon. Chapter of Muraqiba, Transcendental Meditation. Most people try to establish meditation without awakening and spiritually strengthening their souls. Either the Satan traps them or they fail to establish the meditation at all. Meditation is suitable for the advanced level seekers only, who have purified their hearts and mortified their self. Trying to establish Muraqiba is an act of folly for the beginners of the path, regardless of the nature of worship used therewith. Gathering the strength of the souls with God's light and arriving at their concerned station is Muraqiba. Sainthood is 1/40th part of prophethood. All dreams, all Muraqiba, all ilham and wahi, revelation through Gabriel, of a prophet are correct. Therefore, it does not need verification. However, only 40 out of 100 dreams, Muraqiba and ilham, revelation direct from God, of the saints are correct, and the rest are wrong. Hence, it needs esoteric knowledge for its verification. Identification of God is not possible without the required knowledge. The lowest level of Muraqiba is established only after the awakening of the subtlety of Qalb. It is not possible without the opening of the heart. One shock brings the person back into consciousness. Istikhara, seeking divine help, also relates to the subtlety of the heart, Qalb. The next stage of Muraqiba is with the subtlety of the human soul. It takes 3 shocks to return to consciousness. The third Muraqiba is established together with the subtleties of the human soul and Ana. The human soul travels up to the realm of Jabrut along with the subtlety of Ana, just as Gabriel traveled along with Muhammad up to the realm of Jabrut. Whilst in Muraqiba, such people are so deeply lost in that state that they remain unaware of their surroundings, even if they are buried in graves. Companions of the cave were in similar Muraqiba, because of which they remained in a sleeping state for over a period of 300 years. Whenever Abdul Qadir Jilani, a saint from Baghdad, would occupy with such a Muraqiba in the jungle, the thieves from the jungle would bury him in a grave considering him dead. The Muraqiba would always break just before the burial. Recognition of extraordinary inspiration and revelation from God. As an aspirant, following the awakening and enlightenment of the subtleties of the breast, becomes worthy of receiving divine theophanies. God converses with him. God is absolute power, and He can converse with human beings by any means or methods. However, He has introduced a unique method in order to safeguard His friends from falling prey to evil deception. Firstly, the text appears on the heart in Suryani language, along with its translation in the language of the seeker. The text is white and bright, and the eyes close involuntarily and watch the text internally. The text then passes through Qalb and moves on to the subtlety of Siri, as a result of which it gets even brighter. Akfa adds more brightness to it before it finally arrives to the tongue, and the tongue spontaneously begins to read out the text. If this is an evil distortion, an enlightened heart dims the text, and if the text is powerful, then the subtleties of Siri or Akfa efface this text. If supposedly due to the weakness in the subtleties of the breast, the text reaches the tongue then stops it from utterance. This type of inspiration is exceptional to the elite of the saints. God conveys messages to common saints through angels and souls. The Wahi, revelation, is exclusively classified to the prophets only, and its text is always accompanied by Gabriel. Who deserves the paradise? Some predestined hell-bound people endeavor to earn the paradise by way of good deeds and worship, but in the end, they are rejected by God as the Satan was, because they inherit bukhul, stinginess, takabur, false pride, and hasad, jealousy. A prophetic tradition states, One who has even a tiniest amount of bukhul, hasad, and takabur shall not enter the paradise. Predestined paradise-bound individuals are easily recognizable, even if they do not perform any worship. Such people are kind, pure, free of jealousy, covetousness, and they are generous. Should they engage in worship also, such people may attain a higher level of faith. God creates divine concessions for such people for their salvation. Some people stay suspended in between and do have a continuing record of their good and bad deeds. And there are some elite of the elite individuals, and they did love God in the primordial time. They are carefree of the hell or the heaven. Rather, they sacrifice all emotional, mental, and physical belongings and attachments for the sake of God's love. They manage to enlighten their souls with the divine mercy and God's remembrance. Moreover, they manage to see God. For such people alone is reserved the paradise of Firdaus. For category as such, the Prophet declares, some people would enter the paradise without accountability. Explanation: luxuries of the world were written in the book of fate for those who were shown the modeled luxuries of the world. Such souls put even their life on stake to gain worldly pleasures. They committed crimes as horrible as robbery, bribery, usury, and rejected even God's unity, wahdaniyat. Some of the souls from the above-mentioned category adopted religions and performed worship to gain paradise. However, their attempts were wasted like that of the Azazel, the devil, because the religion or faith they adopted was either blasphemous to God or it was disapproved by God, hence, it hurtled in their way. The second category of souls, who opted for the paradise, laid foremost priority on worship and austerities along with mundane chores. Greed of damsels and palaces in the paradise made them run to the worship places. Thus, they thrived in obtaining paradise. For those who, from this category, became lazy in regards to performance of worship, a divine concession earned them a place in the paradise, as they were already paradise-bound in fate. However, they could not achieve the ranks equal to those of the pious ones in the paradise. For such people, God says, do they perceive that we would equal them to the pious ones? As there are 7 grades of the paradise. The sources of guidance for the common folks are the prophets, the books, the gurus, and the saints. They must enter a religion and affirm a declaration of faith, kalima. The elite come under the graceful sight of God without a religion or a book. In other words, the light guides them. It is stated in the scripture, God guides through the divine light whosoever he wishes to. It is said that the declaration of faith is an obligation for entry into the paradise. Remember the fact that the souls are to enter the paradise, not these bodies, and the kalima is to be declared at the time of entry into the paradise. Therefore, the souls will declare the kalima in Maqam Edid, the station of beholding, at any time, or they might as well do it after death, just as the souls of Prophet Muhammad's father, mother, and uncle were granted to affirm it after their physical demise. Bear in mind that the elite of the elite souls had already affirmed the declaration of faith, had taken the necessary vows, and had obtained the verification before their descent in this world. The Prophet Muhammad said, I had already been a prophet prior to my arrival in this world. This is the utterance of the soul for the souls, as the body was given in this world only. The leaders exist only if there are nations to lead. Similarly, the prophets exist if there are followers to follow. In the absence of followers, prophets are not required. Then such people, the saints, are sent into different religions, some in the guise of Baba Farid, and some others in the guise of Guru Nanak. The souls in search of God do not mind the religion, and despite different religions, they seek guidance from whomsoever they believe is connected with God. Ghus Ali Shah, a saint, wrote in his book Tazkira Ghusia, I obtained spiritual grace from Hindu sages also. The Muslim clerics could not understand the concealed secret behind it, so they issued fatwas of the death penalty for Ghus Ali Shah. They threatened the Muslims that their houses would be set on fire if that particular book was found in their possession. Interestingly enough, the book is still available in both India and Pakistan, and it is very popular. Some nations accepted the prophets, and some others rejected them. To the nations nations rejecting them, God, nevertheless, sent down the guides according to their religion. They taught their nations to save them from sins. The guides endeavored to turn the direction of the followers towards the Lord through their own method of worship, rituals, and customs. They taught them to love God and establish peace. If such individuals were not around, all religions would have become thirsty of each other's blood today. Such souls receive guidelines from Vishnu Maharaj, Kidder, also, who knows the secrets of all religions. Which individuals qualify for taqwa, piety? Ilm ul yaqeen, belief based upon knowledge. Such people are worldly. They are at maqam-e-shunid, belief based on hearsay. They have belief based on knowledge. Their faith is based on hearsay, and they have a tendency of going astray. They obtain livelihood not through piety, but by making efforts. May it be earned by way of halal, permissible, or haram, prohibited. Ayn al-yaqeen, the eye of certainty. Individuals from this category are known as tarak al-dunya, those that live in the world among people. However, they abstain themselves from the luxuries of the world. Their heart and inclination is towards God. They are often shown divine visions. Their station is that of the seeing God. They earn by permissible means, and anything prohibited hurts them. Haq ul yaqeen, belief based upon truth. Their station is that of rasid, intercession to God. God grants them a rank, and they come under the theophanies of God and become indifferent to the world. They live among people in the world, yet refrain from both permissible and prohibited enterprises. God provides for them from the unseen resources, even if they adopt a solitary lifestyle in the jungles. This is the station of taqwa, piety. Although the beginners in spirituality do claim to possess taqwa, they do not successfully maintain it. Taqdir. There are two types of fate. 1. Azal, already decided fate. 2. Muallaq, indecisive fate. Some people inquire, why need we make an effort for the sustenance when it is already written in the fate? Makhdoom Jahaniya replied, making efforts for obtaining the sustenance is also written in the fate. For example, a flower vase has been placed for you on the roof. This is Taqdir-e-Azal. In order to get the flower vase, you have to climb up through the stairs onto the roof. This is Muallaq, which is your choice. It is for this conditional part that there will be reckoning on the day of judgment, and not in relation to what was destined in Azal. When you would climb onto the roof, you would collect what was written down for you and would obtain your fate. If you were lazy and did not get up to the roof, then you would be deprived of it. On the other hand, if someone else, in whose fate there is no flower vase, manages to get onto the roof by the stairs or by some considerable effort, then he would still be deprived of it. Third category of the soul. Those that desired neither the world nor the paradise, and gazed at God's face only, sought God in this world, and sacrificed all in search for God. Many kings also abandoned their kingdoms, made the jungle their abode, and put up with hunger and thirst. Some of the aspirants spent many years sitting in the rivers. After successful spiritual discipline, they became known as God's friends. God deputized them on different saintly posts and divine assignments, and they became a divine remedy and a means of hope for the hell-bound souls. Just as the famous poet Iqbal mentions in one of his poems, a glance of a godly man changes the fate. One must have physically seen the spiritual guide upon each birth of the terrestrial spirits, a relation with the guru of the previous birth, or a relation with the ancestral guru, becomes nullified with the present body, just as the prophethood becomes invalid after the arrival of the grand messenger. Just as Moses, Musa Kalimullah, was one of the grand messengers, and all the prophets that came after Moses, their religions were abrogated on arrival of Jesus. Spirit of God, Isa Ruh Allah, and the prophets that came outside Arabia. In the duration between the time of Jesus, Spirit of God, and Muhammad, all of them were abrogated on the arrival of Muhammad. The religions founded by the grand messengers have been valid until date. These grand messengers are Adam Safi Allah, Ibrahim Khalil Allah, Abraham, Musa Kalim Allah, Moses, Isa Ruh Allah, Jesus, and Muhammad Rasul Allah, Muhammad. And every saint follows in the spiritual footsteps of the grand prophets, meaning receives the divine grace from their respective subtlety of the breast, because all 5 subtleties of the human breast are related to the 5 grand messengers. On account of this, spiritual benevolence and prophethood thereof remains valid until the day of judgment. There is a general belief that one must recite the declaration of faith in order to enter the paradise. Please be warned that it does not refer to the declaration of faith belonging to a single prophet in particular, and it alludes to the declaration of faith and religions belonging to all grand messengers. Remember well, Muhammad said, "I have come to reform in what has been altered, and not to deny any religion or celestial book of any grand messenger." The spiritual doctrine and religion of Adam Safi Allah continues even today. Those that possess dhikr qalb, that weep and observe humility in God's name, that repent over their sins, and who seek to avoid sins, fall under the category of the first religion. And this was the primary prophethood and the primary form of worship. Every Hus, leader of a chain of saints, and every saint is on the footsteps, the particular spiritual path of a particular prophet. For example, the category mentioned above is on the footsteps of Adam Safi Allah. Mujaddid Alif Thani said, "I am on the footsteps of Moses." The chain of Kalandars emerges from Jesus Christ. Abdul Qadir Jilani comes from Mashrab-e-Muhammad, the spiritual path of Muhammad. Ponder, progeny of which of the many Adams do you come from? According to various celestial books, 14,000 different Adams came in this world, and some said Adam Safi Allah is the 14,000th, and the last Adam as well. Verily, there came many Adams to this world. When Adam Safi Allah was being molded with clay, the angels tipped, pointing towards Adam. This too would cause mischief and strife in the world. The angels' remarks show that they were already aware of the stories of earlier Adams. Had there not been more than one Adam, how would they know as to how he would behave once he is in the world? The guarded tablet contains various languages, various kalimas, various jantar mantars, magical codes, various gods' names, various scriptural verses, and even mentions magic acts, which the 2 angels, Harut and Marut, taught people. And as punishment, both of the angels are still hanging upside down in a well in Babul, Babylon, one of the cities of Egypt. Each of the Adams was taught a language. Then the prophets were sent in these nations for their guidance. It is therefore said that 124,000 prophets came to the world. It is 6,000 years since Adam Safi Allah came to this world. Had a prophet been sent every year to this world, the total number would not have exceeded 6,000. Sometime later, these nations were destroyed due to their disobedience. Just as archaeological excavations found the ancient cities later, along with the writings in ancient languages, incomprehensible even today. Some nation was destroyed by a hurricane, and some people survived in certain areas, just like some people survived after the Noah's hurricane. Finally, Adam Safi Allah was risen to an exalted nature above all others and was sent in Arabia. All of the grand messengers were born in his progeny. The languages of the various Adams remained in practice among their surviving nations. When the last Adam came, they were taught the Suryani language. When the children of Adam Safi Allah traveled far and wide for tourism, they came across members of the previous nations also. Some of them who either liked the place or were inspired by the lavish green fields settled in those places. Suryani was the language of the land in Arabia. Through intermingling of various nations, Suryani evolved other languages too, viz. Persian, Latin, Sanskrit, and finally, the English language emerged through the process of lingo evolution. Progeny of several different Adams was settled in various islands. One of the Adams was a gypsy. The race of this particular Adam still lives and is responsible for discovering various nations. The nations that lived in islands across the ocean were unaware of each other. A long sea voyage was not possible either by horses or the paddled boats. Columbus successfully made a motorized ship, through which he was the first one to have reached the American soil. He saw red people at the shore. He thought and he said, "Perhaps I have arrived in India, and they are Red Indians." This is why this nation is called the Red Indians. They still live in North Dakota. I asked the chief of a Red Indian tribe, "Who is your Adam?" He replied, "According to our religion, our Adam is in Asia, whose wife is Eve. But according to our history, our Adam came from a mountain in South Dakota. The mountain is still marked as a historical place." It's a general perception among people that the English and the Americans have a fair complexion owing to cold weather in their regions. But that is not true. Ancient lineage of dark-complexioned Adam still exists in the same region, which could not develop fair complexion until date. Therefore, this is the reason that the color, the appearance, the temperament, the intellect, the languages, and the diet of human beings differ. The chain of the progeny of Adam Safi Allah did not spread beyond the Middle East. This is why people of the Middle East resemble each other in features. It is generally believed that Adam Safi Allah descended in Sri Lanka and subsequently migrated to the Arab region where he lived all his life. His grave is in the Arab region. The question is, who pointed out the descent of Adam Safi Allah and his footproofs in Sri Lanka, which are still preserved? It establishes the fact that some tribe had pre-existed Adam Safi Allah's descent in Sri Lanka. The prophethood and sainthood terminated in the nations that were destroyed. Their survivors, being deprived of these spiritual dignitaries, went astray sometime later. As these lands were gradually discovered, the saints from Asia reached these lands and taught the locals their respective religions. Today, the Asian religions have begun to be widely practiced throughout these regions. Jesus was from Jerusalem, Moses was from Bethlehem, Muhammad was from Mecca, Noah and Abraham also were from Arabia. Some of the generations were tormented and destroyed. Some other generations, as a punishment, were transformed into bears and apes. Some of the survivors, out of sheer fear, inclined towards God, and the others regarded God as a penalizer. Therefore, they developed contempt for God. They dismissed all commandments of God and perceived that God never existed. Man is an insect, and heaven and hell are but a myth. In Moses' era, the nation that was transformed into apes as a punishment headed towards Europe. The mothers-to-be from this nation still gave birth to human babies. This nation still exists. They believe themselves to originate from apes. The nation which was transformed into bears headed towards the jungles of Africa. The mothers-to-be of the time bore human babies, and it further developed yet into another generation known as Mum, Bigfoot. They have long hair all over the body. They are mostly women. They often kidnap humans. Religions do not interest them. Owing to their appearance as humans, they tend to cover the private parts of the body with tree leaves. One of the many Adams, due to his wrongdoings, was awarded 1,000 years punishment and was transformed into a snake. His surviving nation exists in the guise of a typical snake called the Ruha. Exactly 1,000 years after birth, they obtain the ability to transfigure as a human being. Once upon a time, Alexander the Great had been to a jungle for hunting. As he was passing through, he saw a beautiful woman crying. She, when asked, said that she was the princess of China. She said that she had come there with her husband for hunting. A lion ate her husband, and thus she had been left behind alone. Alexander the Great said to her that he would have her sent back to China if she went with him. She said that her husband had died, and she was afraid she wouldn't be welcome back home. Alexander the Great took her home and married her. A few months later, Alexander the Great complained of a stomachache. All sorts of remedies were tried on him, but his health did not improve. The pain worsened. The doctors were helpless. A snake charmer visited Alexander the Great to cure him. He told him in private that he could cure him. However, there were a few conditions. He further said, "If I fail to cure you within a few days, you may get me killed by all means." He advised, "Tonight, prepare rice with lentils with an extra bit of salt. You and your wife should eat plenty of it. Lock the room from inside so that neither of you are able to leave the room. Do not sleep. Rather pretend to your wife that you are sleeping and make sure not even a single drop of water is available in the room." Alexander the Great did as he was advised. Sometime during the night, his wife felt thirsty and she noticed the water pot was empty. She tried to open the door, but it was locked. She looked at her husband and assumed he was in deep sleep. She transfigured into a snake and found her way through a hole. She drank water, re-entered the room in the form of a snake, and then she returned to the human form again. Alexander the Great saw it all. In the morning, he told the snake charmer all that he saw the previous night. The snake charmer said, "Your wife is a female snake that transfigures after 1,000 years, and her poison caused the pain in your stomach." Then, this woman was taken to the sea on the pretense that they were going on excursion. The sign where she was thrown still exists today and is called the Barrier of Alexander. This particular species of snakes still exists in the world. Ordinary snakes do not have ears. However, these snakes that can turn into human beings have ears. A tribe of an unknown Adam is secluded within the mountains of China. Dul-Qarnayn built a stone wall to prevent them from entering this region. They have very long ears, and they use one ear as a bedsheet and the other as a blanket. They are known as Gog-Magog. Science has discovered many regions, but there still remains a lot to be discovered. The Yetis, abominable snowmen, live behind the mountains of the Himalayas. A group of Man 33 lives in the forests also. Nobody knows their language. They also worship according to the principles taught by their Adam. They have a tribal system for discipline and principles of life. Besides these continents of Earth, there are many more planets, viz. the Moon, the Sun, Jupiter and Mars, etc. Atoms came there also. However, these planets have already witnessed doomsday. Some of these were destroyed by cutting off the supply of oxygen, and others were completely wiped out. Human life exists on Mars. Creatures made of fire live on the Sun, Mars. People of all religions live on Mars. Our scientists have not reached Mars yet. However, the Martians have been to Earth many times. They have taken with them a few men from here for experiments. They are far more advanced in scientific knowledge and inventions than we are. Even if our satellites and scientists reach Mars, they cannot escape the Martians' hold. God granted an abundance of knowledge to one of the atoms. His progeny gained access to Beit al-Mamur, House of the Appointed One. Through that knowledge, they would hear, on earth, the commandments of God given to the angels. One day, the angels said, "Oh God, this nation is causing interference in our affairs. When we arrive in the world to accomplish our tasks, they have already found a deterrent." God directed Gabriel to test them. A 12-year-old boy was grazing goats, and Gabriel asked him, "Do you also possess some knowledge?" The boy said, "Ask me." Gabriel said, "Tell me, where is Gabriel now?" The boy closed his eyes and said, "He is not in the skies." Gabriel asked, "Where is he?" The boy said, "He is not on any land either." Gabriel asked, "Then where is he?" The boy opened his eyes and said, "I have searched for him in the 14 levels of the 7 realms, but he is not anywhere. Either I am Gabriel or you are." Then God commanded the angels to drown this nation by flooding. They heard this decree of God, hence began to build homes with iron and glass. They were destroyed through an earthquake. The ancient name of that region was Chalda, and now it is known as Greece. They, through spiritual knowledge, interfered with divine affairs, and now our scientists, through the knowledge of science, are causing interference with the affairs of God. In order to intimidate them, God plans destruction on a small scale. whereas a comet has been sent towards Earth for total destruction. The comet is expected to fall on Earth in the next 20 to 25 years. That will be the last day of this world. A fragment of the comet has already fallen on Jupiter 2 years ago. The scientists are aware of this, and they plan to settle on the Moon or any other planet before the comet falls. Booking of the plots has already taken place on the Moon. They know that the basic elements of life, such as air, water, and plantation, are absent on the Moon. Then what is this endeavor aimed at? If they are making all these efforts for scientific research, what is the benefit to humanity, even if they have reached the Moon and Jupiter? Have they discovered a breakthrough medicine which can prolong the aging process, or a medicine that can defeat death? Even if our people reached Mars, they, due to the difference of oxygen on Earth and Mars, would not survive there. Money is being wasted on futile endeavors. Had the United States of America and Russia utilized the wealth on the poor, it would prosper all of humanity. Just because they belong to different atoms, they are making atomic bombs to destroy each other, whereas the world is destined to come to an end by itself without needing bombs. The number of souls created in the heaven exceeded the limit. The souls of the elite, Muqarrib, were in the foremost row. Ordinary souls were sent into the nations of atoms that were created in this world. These atoms were created with black, white, yellow, and red clay. Gabriel, Harut, and Marut taught them knowledge. As the atoms were created with clay in this world, the infernal jinns would manage to enter them and their progenies' bodies and would attempt to gain control over them. Then the prophets and the saints in those nations and the knowledge they taught were the means for their salvation. A majority of atoms were created in the form of pairs that initiated a chain of progeny. However, occasionally, only a woman was created as Adam, and the progeny was initiated with the help of the command, be. These nations still live in this world. In such tribes, only women are the leaders. Just because they are progeny of a woman, they perceive God also is a woman. They consider themselves to be the progeny of the angels. Since their female Adam's progeny was born without marriage and male copulation, this custom is still part of their culture. The women of these tribes bear children by anyone and later marry some other man. They do not regard this custom as indecent. In accordance with the nature of the souls, the choice they made in the primordial times, their destiny and their spiritual status, a similar natured Adam was sent to guide such souls. Therefore, no proper religion was formulated for them. Any prophets sent into them were accepted, but by a few people only. Rather, most of them acted the opposite to the teachings of the prophets. Instead of God, they worshipped the moon, the stars, the sun, trees, fire, and even the snakes. Eventually, Adam Safi Allah was created in paradise with the clay thereof, so as to elevate him in eminence and superiority above all, and so that he may be protected against the infernal creatures, because paradise was inaccessible to the infernal creatures. Azazel read the situation due to his intelligence. He was appointed the leader of the angels owing to his excessive worship. He was from the nation of the jinns. Out of jealousy, he spat on Adam's body, and by means of the saliva, a germ similar to an infernal creature penetrated the body of Adam, which is known as nafs. The progeny of Adam thus inherit the nafs. That is what this prophetic tradition, a satanic jinn is born with every human being, alludes to. The angels are different from the archangels. The angels dwell in Malakut, and the angels and the souls were created simultaneously. Above Malakut is Jabrut, and the creatures thereof are known as archangels, which existed well before the souls were created with the command, be. God commanded the angels to prostrate before Adam Safi Allah. No other Adam was created in the paradise previously. Neither had the angels prostrated before any other Adam. Azazel was reluctant and denied to prostrate before Adam Safi Allah. Hence, he was cursed. This is why he initiated enmity against Adam Safi Allah's progeny. Nations of the previous Adams were safe from the enmity of Azazel, and the infernal jinns sufficed to incite them. Since the Satan was more powerful than all the infernal jinns, he controlled and taught the progeny of Adam Safi Allah such disgusting crimes that the other nations reproached the Asians. And eminence of Adam Safi Allah was the reason why those among his progeny whom God guided became sublime and eminent, that the other nations were stunned by their grandeur and envied them. The greatest celestial books, the Old Testament, the Psalms of David, the New Testament, and the Quran, were revealed upon the messengers from among the progeny of Adam Safi Allah. Through their teachings, benevolence, and blessings, the Asian religion spread among all nations of the world. The soul was not yet inserted in the body of Adam Safi Allah, and the angels realized that he too was being created to be sent into the world. They knew for sure that the man made with clay dwells on earth only, and then God sent Adam into the world on some divine pretext. God himself plots the eternal acts, and the humans are held blameworthy for them. Had Adam Safi Allah been sent without being tricked into blame, he would have always complained and grumbled in the world. He would not repent or cry in modesty, would he? 1. If the predestined hell-bound souls are born in a non-religious household, they turn into kafir, rejecter of truth, and kadib, those who label the truth as a lie. These individuals are the atheists, the enemies of the prophets and the saints. They are arrogant and stone-hearted men, and they find pleasure in harming the creatures of God. The second category of the souls remain naive of the religions, even if they adopt a religion. They turn into hypocrites, in the case that they are born in a religious household. 2. Such individuals are blasphemous to the prophets, jealous of the saints, and cause mischief in the religions. Their worship also is wasted like that of Iblis. The religion draws them towards the paradise, but their fate pulls them towards the hellfire. Since they remain deprived of the support and assistance of the prophets and the saints, therefore they are easily incited by their nafs and trapped in evil plots, afflicted by the Satan. They perceive that they possess sufficient knowledge and perform excessive worship. Hence, they see no difference between the prophets and themselves. Then they begin to consider themselves as a prophet without peeping into their inner self, and they perceive that even the saints stand in need of them. They do not admit knowledge of spirituality and miracles. Nevertheless, they only accept the acts which they are able to perform. They reject even the miracles of the prophets and label them as magic. They admit the powers of Iblis, the devil, but they are reluctant to admit the divine might which God invests in the prophets and the saints. 3. When a predestined heaven-bound soul takes birth in a non-religious household or in an impure environment, it is known as mazur, helpless. Mazur may qualify for the bakshish, concession, and divine pardon. These are the souls that seek the favor of the saints in their pursuit of Sirat al-Mustaqim and to exit from the quicksand of sins. They are kind, humble, and generous. 4. If the predestined heaven-bound soul takes birth in a religious household that practices a celestial religion, is known as Sadiq, natural believer, and Momin, enlightened believer. These are the ones that through extensive ibadah, worship, and riyada, extensive worship and struggle, obtain God's nearness and become worthy of the divine inheritance. Prophetic tradition. Faqr, spiritual poverty, is my pride, and it is from me. The religion of God. All religions were established by the prophets in this world. However, prior to this, God himself was love, the lover, and the beloved. And for the souls that were in nearness, the divine manifestation and love of God was the religion of God. Then, these souls, when they were sent to this world, sacrificed all their possessions in order to reach God. The religion of God was primarily confined to the elite only, and now it has been made accessible to the common folks also through the widespread of spiritual knowledge. A prophetic tradition narrated by Abu Huraira. I received 2 different types of knowledge from the Prophet Muhammad. I told you of one, you would kill me if I told you the other. When Mevlana Rumi's spiritual guide pulled up the dry books from the pond, Mevlana Rumi exclaimed, "What is it?" Shah Shams, the guide, said, "You are not aware of this knowledge." Moses asked God, "Is there any other type of knowledge apart from what you have bestowed upon me?" God directed Moses towards Khidr. Every worshipper's prayer, "O God, guide me unto the straight path, the one of those that you are pleased with." The famous poet of the East, Iqbal, said, "And what does a naive clergyman know of it? The religion of God." The souls which were granted ranks in the primordial time loved God, and God loved them. Such souls remained loyal to God in the world also. Jesus Christ miraculously spoke in infancy and announced that he was a messenger. The Archangel Gabriel had already given glad tidings of Jesus' birth to Mother Mary. Pharaoh had been foretold of a child's birth in a certain tribe who would cause destruction to him, and that the child would be one of the elite servants of God. Prophet Muhammad also said, "I was already a prophet prior to my arrival in this world." Many of the loving and predestined souls are present in various religions and bodies. Observations. Deen-e-Ilahi, God's religion. God has sent to the world 124,000 prophets and 5 grand messengers for the guidance of humankind, and they have established 313 different religions to facilitate humankind to earn paradise and reach their ultimate destiny. Deen literally means lifestyle. Deen-e-Ilahi is God's lifestyle. God's lifestyle is the religion of God, and it is as ancient as God himself. God is all love, and he manifests his attributes on a daily basis. To be able to adopt God's lifestyle is to adopt God's religion. Many religious scholars may not comprehend its unique nature and subtle application. However, God's religion is above all religions. In the end times, in the end, God will send forth one of the above-mentioned souls. He will find and unite them together, and he will remind them that they also once loved God. All such souls, whether or not they are religious, will attend to his call and flock around him. He will grant them a unique name of God, which will pass through their hearts and settle in their souls. The souls will constantly engage with the repetition of that name. The soul will become a permanent dakir. The unique name of God will confer on them a brand new enthusiasm, a new power, and a new definition of love. The Nur, divine energy, of the unique name of God will reconnect the soul with God. Zikr Qalb serves like an intermediary ladder to obtaining Zikr Ruh, invocation of the soul. Just as the rituals of Salat, a form of worship, and fasting are means of obtaining the invocation of the heart. If the soul of an individual has learnt to invoke God, he is among those who shall have no fear of accountability and the divine scale on the day of judgment. The advanced stages of invocation and worship of soul confirm his elevated rank. Individuals that are progressing in spirituality from the heart towards the soul are among those who have entered the religion of God or are about to enter it. Their means of guidance is God's light, not the books. God's light itself keeps them away from committing sins, and those who, even by striving or by learning about it, are deprived of this spiritual status are not included in this spiritual league. Heretics are those that, without invocation of the heart and the soul, consider themselves among those in this spiritual league or imitate them. The means of salvation for common folks is worship and religion. The means of guidance are the celestial books. The means of intercession are through the prophets and the saints. Many Muslims do not accept the fact that the saints can provide people with intercession to God. However, Prophet Muhammad advised his companions to request Uwais Qarni to provide his ummah following with intercession to God. religion of souls. Recognition of the followers of Din-e-Ilahi, the religion of God, into which all the rivers merge, is known as an ocean, and into which all the religions merge is the religion of God. This is the divine avenue where all four religions intermingle. Sultan Haq Bahu. The elementary stage of recognition, when both the heart and the soul are revived with God's remembrance, whether it is through performance of worship or through the merciful sight of the spiritual guide. In both cases, it is predestined. The seeker begins to disapprove of sins, and if a sin is committed, he feels blameworthy and makes efforts to avoid it in the future. God says, "I like those individuals also who exert themselves to refrain from sins." Love of the world starts to leave off the heart, and God's love starts to prevail. The seeker begins to feel he is getting rid of greed, jealousy, stinginess, and false pride. The tongue quits backbiting. The seeker observes humility in him. Stinginess is replaced by generosity, and the lies leave off. Prohibited carnal desires are replaced by lawful ones. The seeker begins to disapprove of unlawful wealth, prohibited provision, and actions. The ultimate stage of recognition. One completely quits hashish, opium, heroin, tobacco, and alcohol. One meets highly spiritual dignitaries in dreams, meditation, and through spiritual insight. Nafs al-Amara, the commanding self, turns into Nafs Mutmainna, the divinely content self. The Ana enters in a private audience with God. All the veils between God and the man are lifted. One shuns the sins. One obtains the ultimate station in God's love and union with Him. He turns into a provider from being a simple man. Since souls of the elite from different religions would join this spiritual league, as they had already affirmed the declaration of faith before God on the primordial day, and God had witnessed it. Therefore, affiliation with a religion would not be a problem, and anyone from any religion would be able to join it. All would be allowed to worship according to their respective religions. However, their hearts would bear the same name of God. In short, they would be united in hearts regardless of their religious background. They will become godly when they will have God in their hearts. Subsequent to this, God may either confine somebody to Himself or send anybody as a guide in any religion. There will be different categories for them. Mufid, useful to render guidance. Munfarid, good for himself. Soldiers, commanders. The supporters and helpers from the category of sinners also will reach some kind of rank. Many of those, Muslims or non-Muslims, who failed to join this league of Mehdi would join the Antichrist, Dajjal. In the end, there will be a bloody war between the forces of Imam Mehdi and the Antichrist. Followers of Jesus Christ, Imam Mehdi, and Kalki Avatar will be united and will defeat the Antichrist. The majority of the followers of the Antichrist will be killed, and their survivors will live in fear and helplessness quietly. Imam Mehdi and Jesus Christ will reign over the hearts of humanity. Peace will prevail in the entire world. All the religions will perish, and a new religion will emerge. That will be God's favorite religion, Ishq-e-Allah, God's rapturous love. The gist of all religions established by the prophets and their celestial books, acceptable to the entire humankind, superior to all forms of worship, even greater than God's love. Faith is not aware of where the rapturous love of God can take the seeker to. Sultan Haq Bahu. Iqbal had drawn a picture of these times. The world needs the Mehdi whose vision will shake the foundation of universal thoughts. The hidden secrets are to reveal, for the era of the Hadith phrase, "You cannot see me," has gone past. Whoever's personal identity of the self becomes known first is the awaited Imam Mehdi. Open my eyes in the mirror of comprehension and see for yourself the vague picture of the future. Look at the sky, the earth, the space, and the rising sun from the east. O giver of the wine, The era when the drinkers would hide and drink is history now. The entire world will be a tavern one day, and every soul on earth a drinker. The time for unveiling is nigh. Seeing the divine splendor will be common. The secret that silence kept veiled will soon manifest now. Emerging from the desert, who toppled up the Roman Empire? I heard angels saying that the lion will be in action again. None of the celestial books or sahifa, random inspiration from God, is God's religion. These books direct the followers to adopt salat, fasting and growing a beard, whereas God is carefree of such restraints. These religions were established to enlighten and purify the nations of the prophets, whereas God himself is the purest form of light. When a man, after union with God, becomes light, then he too enters the religion of God. God's religion is his love and affection. It is the translation and definition of his 99 names. God is one who makes mention of his friends. God himself is love, lover, and beloved. Should God grant a man a portion from the attributes mentioned above, then he too enters the religion of God. Then, seeing God is his worship, salat, and the remembrance of God is his longing. The seeing of God provides atonement for his missed obligatory and non-obligatory rituals. Then, not even the collective worship of the jinns, the angels, and the entire human race can reach his spiritual level. For such a person, Abdul Qadir Jilani said, "Worship or its intent after one has acquired union with God is a grave ingratitude to the divine bounty." Bulleh Shah said, "Since we adopted the worship of Ishq, we became forgetful of mosques and temples." Iqbal said, "A naive clergyman may not be aware of such a delightful divine bounty." With reference to this secretive doctrine did Abu Huraira say, "Muhammad granted to me knowledge of two types. I told you of one of the types. You would kill me if I told you the other." The history bears witness to the fact that whoever revealed this knowledge was killed, as Shah Mansur and Sarmad were. And today, even Gohar Shahi, due to his revealing of this knowledge, is threatened with similar consequences. The prophets abide by the Sharia law to become a model for the Ummah, nation, so that they may imitate and follow. Otherwise, they do not need to worship. They have the rank of prophethood since primordial time, long before the existence of the Sharia law. Since they have to perfect the religion as a model, if the prophets miss out any of the rituals, or if they adopt an act, their nation imitates them. Hence, they have to remain careful and sober. Can anyone be justified to say that a prophet will enter the hellfire if he does not worship? Not at all. Can anyone be justified to say that one cannot be a prophet if he does not worship? Can anyone claim that one cannot become a prophet if he does not learn the knowledge? Why are the saints made subject to objections? Note that sainthood is a substitute to prophethood. Remember well, those that claim to possess unification and union with God without seeing God, or perceive themselves to be worthy of this status and pretended to be as such, are heretics and deniers of the truth. Verily, the Quran curses such liars who deny the truth. Due to them, thousands of believers lose their faith and happen to waste their valuable time. This book is worthy of research and consideration for all religions, sects, and all humanity, and is a live challenge to those who refute spirituality. Utterances of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi. There are 3 parts of exoteric knowledge and 1 part of esoteric knowledge. One has to find a Moses to obtain exoteric knowledge and a Khidr to obtain esoteric knowledge from. The inspirational voice that one hears without the presence of Gabriel is known as Ilham. The knowledge that one obtains without Gabriel accompanying it is known as Sahifa, divine scroll, and Hadith Qudsi, conversation with God without a medium. The knowledge conveyed through the Gabriel is known as the Quran, whether it contains exoteric knowledge or esoteric knowledge, whether you call it the Torah, the Psalms of David, or the Bible. The religious scholars get away with their faults and errors by labeling it as politics. Faults and errors by the saints are regarded and ignored as acts of wisdom. Faults and errors by the prophets are not regarded as faults and errors. The concerned souls inside the human body gain strength with whatever type of spiritual practice they are engaged in, and those that are not engaged in any spiritual practice are dormant and senseless. And those that, through any means, have absorbed God's name in their souls, their hobby is then constant remembrance of God, dhikr sultani, and rapturous love of God, ishq-i-Allah. No wonder Iqbal said, if you possess rapturous love of God, your kufr, ingratitude, is Islam, submission to God. Sachal Sain said, denial or submission to God becomes insignificant and nullified when one does not love God. Sultan Haq Bahu said, the stage of belief is unaware of the station of God's rapturous love. God's mercy falls upon the land where such individuals visit or stay, and the religions they belong to or join also come under God's shower of mercy. Baba Farid and Baba Guru Nanak are from among such saints. Then, the Hindus and the Sikhs do not hesitate to pay homage to Baba Farid, and the Muslims and the Christians do not hesitate to pay homage to Baba Guru Nanak. Imam Mehdi will rejuvenate all the religions. Mujadid, the revivers, emerged within Muslim Ummah in the post-Mohammedan era, and they revived the religion. The amendment of these Mujadid will become ineffective after the advent of Imam Mehdi, and Imam Mehdi will rejuvenate all religions in his very own way. It is mentioned in several books that Imam Mehdi shall found a brand new religion. If an individual worships all his life, but in the end he happens to oppose Imam Mehdi and Jesus Christ, return of both the personalities to this world is imminent. Jesus Christ appears with the same body as he was raised up with, and Imam Mehdi in the body with the terrestrial spirits of Prophet Muhammad. Such an individual is hellbound in the similitude of Balim Ba'ur, and he is as rejected by God as Iblis, the devil, was. On the contrary, if an individual lives all his life like a dog, but in the end he happens to support and love Imam Mehdi and Jesus Christ, such an individual shall enter paradise in the similitude of Katmir. Some of the religions and sects say Jesus had died and his tomb is situated in Afghanistan. This is a misleading propaganda. The tomb in Afghanistan is not that of Jesus Christ, but of a saint whose name also is Isa. In that primitive age, what could have been the purpose of burial at such a far-off place? They argue, how was Jesus raised to the skies? We say, how was Adam descended on earth? Remember, Idris, Enoch, still lives physically in paradise. Khidr, a mystical figure, and Elias are present on earth, and they haven't tasted death yet. Hayat al-Amir, the grandson of Abdul Qadir Jilani, also has been living for 600 years. Abdul Qadir Jilani instructed him, do not die until you convey my salutation to Imam Mehdi. It is Hayat al-Amir who gave Shah Latif the title of Bari Imam. The site of his sitting place is still preserved in Barako, which is situated near Muri, Pakistan. Punishment for exoteric sins is imprisonment, fine, or the death penalty. Blameworthiness is the punishment for the ones on the spiritual path. However, the punishment for the esoteric sins is severe. For those who backbite, a certain amount of virtues are transferred as a fine from their account to those affected. Greed, jealousy, stinginess, and false pride efface their hard-earned virtues. Such individuals, if they possess a certain amount of God's light, lose it when they blaspheme and hold grudges against prophets and saints, just as Sheikh Sanan's marvels and spiritual insight were confiscated due to blasphemy against Abdul Qadir Jilani. Bayazid Bastami learnt that a man spoke ill of him. Bayazid started to pay him for this. The man accepted the money, yet he continued to speak ill of him. One day his wife said to him, Either you should stop accepting the money, or you should stop speaking ill of Bayazid Bastami. He started praising Bayazid Bastami. When Bayazid Bastami found out that he then praised him, he stopped his financial support. He visited Bayazid and said, "You paid me when I spoke badly about you. Why did you stop my financial support now when I praise you?" Bayazid said, "Then you were my servant. You spoke ill of me and it would burn my sins. You stopped doing it. Why should I pay you now?" The vices mentioned here relate to Nafs al-Amara, and Iblis, the devil, is its helper. Piety, generosity, forgiveness, patience and gratitude, humility and theophanies belong to Kalbe Shahid, and the Wali Murshid, spiritual master, is its guardian and helper. He helps the disciple against evil plots. In the presence of Nafs al-Amara, light of divine words do not stay in the heart, even if one memorizes the verses of the celestial book. Similitude of such an individual is that of a parrot. When nafs turns to the contented self, then no impurity can stay in you. Then your cockerel of lust becomes pure. For purification of nafs, find a divinely appointed nafs shikan, the self-demolisher, and such sages are appointed by God at all times. The exterior of the body is cleansed with water, while the interior is purified with God's light, Nur. Without cleanliness, it is unclean and impure, for only the clean body deserves the worthiness of worship. And worthiness of divine theophanies is for the clean heart only. And this is when the celestial books render guidance to the pure ones. Otherwise, the people of the books become enemies to each other. Mujaddid Alif Thani states in his book, "Individuals with Nafs al-Amara are not worthy of studying the Quran." The beginners in spirituality must initially strive to purify themselves by means of dhikr Allah, God's remembrance. And the seekers who are in the final stages in spirituality are advised to study the Quran. Muhammad said, "The Quran curses on some of its readers." Bulleh Shah said, "Such people enjoy the divine favors and deny it, yet to show off, they carry the Quran under their armpit." A worshipper perceives that he is near to God because he is awake all night worshiping God. But after worship, your prayers are for health, long life, wealth, and for the damsels and slaves of the paradise. Ponder. Did you ever pray to God, "O God, I desire from thee nothing but thee"? A religious scholar perceives that he is near to God, hence he thinks he has already obtained salvation. He thinks, "I have knowledge of the Quran in me." The question is, why then do you declare others as hellbound, though every Muslim possesses some amount of knowledge and has memorized some of the verses of the Quran? Ponder. Who sells the divine knowledge? And who sells himself? Who backbites against the saints? Who possesses jealousy, false pride, and greed? Whose custom is it to bear one thing in the heart and something else on the tongue? Who says one thing in the morning and denies it in the evening? Who presents the truth as falsehood and falsehood as the truth? If you are far from these traits, then you are a Khalifa-e-Rasul, deputy of the Prophet, and showing the back to you is a great disrespect, meaning an orator in appearance while the Quran in reality. If you are afflicted with such diabolical traits, perhaps you are from among the clerics of the 14th century, for whom the wolf said, "May I be counted as those who ate the prophet Joseph." Sirat al-Mustaqim, straight path leading to God. Those whose outward is correct but inward is darkened are a cause of mischief within the religion and are caliphs of Iblis, the devil. Tradition of the Prophet Muhammad. Be fearful of the ignorant scholar and distance yourselves from him whose tongue is a scholar but the heart is ignorant, meaning darkened. Those whose inward is pure but outward is impure are known as majzub, spiritually incompetent, mazur, helpless, sukar, spiritually intoxicated, and munfarid, unique. Tariq e kalb. What of the accountability when the intellect is lost in God's love? They, majzub, are a sign of perplexity in the religion. However, they are in nearness to God. They cannot obtain any further rank or spiritual status. The appointed ones on the ranks are divinely verified, whereas the impostors become heretics. And it was the appointed ones who beat up and verbally abused persons like former President Ayub, Benazir Bhutto, and Nawaz Sharif when they were in power. Could you beat up somebody in power? Thus, certain acts are confined to the appointed ones only, and a common man cannot copy them. If the outward and the inward both are enlightened and pure, and one engages himself in the outward form of worship as well as invocation by heart, such individuals are known as Alim-e-Rabbani, the divine scholars. They inherit the intuitional understanding of the religion and are the prophet's representatives. As when an individual's external and internal both are unified, they are known as second to God. If he performs Hajj spiritually or in a dream, then he is rewarded for this pilgrimage performed in Batin as much as he would have been rewarded for the physical pilgrimage, or even greater than that. Ritual prayer by souls is entitled to be equivalent to the outward prayer. Verily, even greater than that. When such an individual performs ritual prayers, salat, outwardly, it is highly ranked in spirituality also. These are the individuals whose bodies are here among people on earth, yet their souls are with God there in higher realms. In the faculty of faqr, the spiritual poverty, such individuals are called mu'arif, whose soul is the saint also. Seeing God suffices and satisfies the thirst of God's lover. Some people say, God cannot be seen. Beware. Prophet Muhammad introduced the knowledge through which God can be seen. Imam Abu Hanifa said, I saw God in dreams 99 times. Bayazid Bastami said, I saw God 70 times. God can be seen through the faculty of ana, which lies in the head. However, you are indifferent and unaware of its concerned knowledge and invocation. The friend of God. If people believe someone to be a saint based on his spiritual insight, marvels, and spiritual benevolence, but their heart is disgusted by his religion or any of his deeds, they better stop visiting him rather than passing bad remarks about him. Beware, someone may be an apple of God's eye, or a Sheikh Baka, a Lal Shabazz, a Khidr, or a Sai Baba. You may also encounter an eternal divine bride. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi's revolutionary message to humankind. A Muslim says, I am superior to all. A Jew declares, I am even better than the Muslim. And a Christian says, I am greater than both the Muslim and the Jews and the rest of the religions, because I am the nation of God's Son. But His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi declares that superior and best of all is the one who possesses God's love in his heart, in spite of his indifference to any religion. Performance of verbal rituals depicts his obedience and submission to God, whereas invocation by the heart serves as an intermediary to obtaining God's love and communication with God. Those whom God has granted some rank are divinely verified, and those that copy are heretic. The false claimant of prophethood is kafir, rejecter of truth, whereas a false claimant of sainthood is not far behind kufr, rejection of truth. A saint is God's friend, and it is essential for a friend to have spoken with him and seen him. Prophet Muhammad once warned his companions that some of the deeds of the prophet must not be copied, and that they are confined to the prophet only. The prayers of every musalli, worshipper, O God, show me the way of those upon whom you bestowed your bounty. The true salat has to be performed in Bayt al-Mamur, and the soul continues to perform such salat even after the physical demise, just as the souls of all the prophets offered salat in Bayt al-Muqaddas, Dome of Rock, on the night of Ascension, Laylatul Miraj. The seeker must abide by the law of Sharia until he has seen God unveiled. Nevertheless, God has ordained a substitute for the sinners and those who are lazy in worship. Heart invocation with God's name indemnifies for the sins and missed out worships, and it turns the aspirant into an enlightened conscience and lover of God eventually. Then do remember your Lord while standing, sitting, and tossing on your bed, as when your prayer, salat, missed out. Quran. Newness, attachment, amiable glances, and well wishes of the saints also brighten the fate of sinners and save them from hell. Please note that Prophet Muhammad sent his companions to Awais Qarni to pray for salvation of his ummah, following generosity, riyadha, extensive worship and struggle, and martyrdom also may indemnify for the sins and qualify the sinner for salvation. God appreciates modesty, repentance, and tears also. God's favor. Due to this, Nasuha, the one who used to steal the shrouds of dead bodies and who used to dishonor and assault dead bodies of women, was forgiven by God. The Quran. One day, Jesus asked the Satan, "Who is your best friend?" The Satan replied, "A miser worshiper." Jesus exclaimed, "Explain how." The Satan said, "His stinginess nullifies his worship." Jesus continued to ask, "Who is your worst enemy?" The Satan said, "A generous sinner." Jesus exclaimed, "Explain how." The Satan said, "His generosity washes away his sins." Those who love and take care of God's elite and the common creation, and those who support Haqq, the truth, maintain justice, also become worthy of God's mercy. One day, the poet Iqbal, when he was a student of 3rd or 4th grade, was returning home from his school when he saw a female dog following him. He climbed the stairs to his home, while the female dog kept staring at him senselessly. He thought, perhaps she is hungry. His father had left a loaf of bread for him. He put before her a half of the loaf. She ate it right away, yet she kept staring at him senselessly. He fed her the other half too, and remained hungry for the rest of the day. His father received glad tidings during the night regarding the appreciable act of his son that he had become God's favorite. Subakjin noticed that a deer was following behind his horse as he started to ride away from the jungle, carrying a baby deer. Subakjin stopped and noticed that the deer stopped too, raising her head and staring into the sky. Subakjin realized that tears were rolling down her eyes. He released the baby deer. Following this incident, God showered so much mercy upon him that afterwards he would often weep in the name of God. Mevlana Rumi says, "A moment's company of a saint is far better than the sincere worship of 100 years." A holy tradition of Prophet Muhammad states, God says, "I become his tongue with which he speaks, and I become his hands with which he holds." Abu Dhar Ghafari said, "On the day of judgment, as the people recognize the saints, they will say, 'Oh God, I helped him with ablution.' God will reply, 'Let him be granted salvation.' Another man will say, 'Oh God, I gave him clothes to wear and gave him food to eat.' God will reply, 'Let him also be granted salvation.' This is how countless men will find salvation. Hadith Qudsi. God said, "And I declare war against those who bear animosity towards my saints." God's style of waging a war is not beheading somebody for once. Rather, he destroys the faith of the criminals, and such criminals continue to suffer from this agony eternally ever after in hell. People say, worship is the means to find God. I declare, the heart is the passage that leads to God. Worship is but the means to cleanse the heart. You are remotely far off God should you fail to cleanse the heart through worship. God warns, "It is not the actions, the bodies, and the faces that I look at, rather, the hearts and intentions therein." Nevertheless, performance of worship may lead one to paradise. God, however, is still far off reach. This esoteric knowledge is suitable to those who aim not to go after paradise and its damsels, but to seek just love, proximity, and union with God. Then, as it appears in the verse of Kahf, God helps them find a spiritual guide, Wali Murshid. When God is pleased by an admirable act of his servant, God looks at him out of utter love, and that washes away his sins. Those who keep company of such individuals also come under the merciful sight of God. God's friends, the companions of the cave, were in deep meditation. Meanwhile, God continued to look at them with love and affection, which will lead to their companion dog's entry into paradise. When Sheikh Farid earned God's merciful sight, the shepherd accompanying him was also blessed. When God became pleased with Abu al-Hasan due to his efforts, God began to speak with him. One day, God said to him, "O Abu al-Hasan, people will stone you to death if I tell them about you." He replied, "Nobody will prostrate before you if I tell them how merciful you are." God said, "Don't tell them anything, and either will I." When Zayed was arrested for the third time for consuming alcohol, the companions of the Prophet said, "Curse him. He repeats this crime time after time." Prophet Muhammad said, "Do not curse him, for he loves God and his messenger, and those who love God and his messenger cannot be sent to hellfire." Verily, God loves and takes care of all his creation. God provides for even the helpless insects that dwell in stones. As disobedient offspring are punished and disinherited, similarly, God becomes a penalizer for the disobedient and blasphemous ones. Believe the fact God wants to look at you also, but you are either naive, careless, or ill-fated. You beautify and groom your face with soap and cream because people look at it. Have you ever cleansed what God wants to look at? A prophetic tradition states, "There is a cleanser for washing up all objects, as for the heart, God's remembrance." Those who just verbally proclaim and say, "I love you," are merely bluffing. Love is an involuntary gift that manifests unplanned. You begin to love what dwells in thy heart. Platonic love concerns itself to the heart. The means of bringing God in the heart are visualization of God's name, God's remembrance articulated within the heartbeats, and the saints. The engine alone cannot make a vehicle work, and it cannot transport anybody to their destination until other parts of the vehicle are also fitted in it. Similarly, Salat is also incomplete without attainment of the mortification of the self, nafs, and purification of the heart. When you think that without these necessities your worship is sufficient, and that this will earn you the paradise, then why do you label others as hell-bound when they too worship? The difference is, one is riding on the donkey of Jesus Christ, and the other on the donkey of the Antichrist. However, both are black and darkened in the hearts, meaning one has faith in Jesus but is deprived of the purification of the heart. Hence, he is fooling himself into believing that he belongs to Jesus. The other one has a troubled heart, hence his heart is darkened. They follow different creeds only, and the creeds will not go forth, but the souls will. When Salat is confined to verbalization only, and the heart is polluted with absurdities such as greed and jealousy, it is known as Salat al-Surat, worship of the body only. Common folks suffer from this wishful thinking and continue to be victims of sectarianism. Their propagation of religion creates mischief within the religion. For example, you practiced a sectarian school of thought and worshipped for 10 to 15 years, and later you realized some other sectarian school of thought was correct, and you joined it. It suggests that the previous sect you practiced was false, and God doesn't honor any worship practiced under a false belief system. This is how you rejected the worship, Salat, you carried out for 10 to 15 years. The chances are the new sect you have adopted might as well be a false one, and all your previous and future worship became a total waste. And at the end of the day, you found yourself back to square one where you started from. You should have sought a spiritual guide than to waste your precious time. The tenet of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. If the pious ones and the worshippers of all religions stand in a row, and God is requested to manifest His accord as to which ones of them would He prefer to look at, who would He choose? as you would involuntarily look at the glittering stars, whether it is Mars, Mercury, or an unknown star. In a similar fashion would God look at the enlightened hearts only, whether or not they practice a religion. Sachal Sain said, "When one does not have God's love, Islam hardly differs from the kufr." You, in search of God, rush to worship places such as temples, churches, and mosques. Has anyone seen God sitting in any worship place in history? Oh, fools! The dwelling of the Lord is in your heart. Domicile God in your heart, then you shall see that these worship places and its worshippers will run towards you. Bayezid stated, "I circumambulated Kaaba, the Muslims' sacred place of worship in Mecca, for some time. Since God inhabited me, Kaaba began circumambulating me." The worship places are collection points for good virtues, whereas the heart is the divine abode. In worship places you shall call upon God. In the hearts, God shall call upon you. Not in the fate of the intellectuals is found the taste of passion. Those who sacrifice everything are the bearers of ishq, rapturous lovers. And one cannot find God by repeating God's name. One must seek a spiritual guide, for only they can take one to God. Every religion strongly believes that their prophet is the most eminent and glorified, and this belief caused wars between them. Through spiritual sciences, you should first gain access to the gatherings of the prophets, for only then you will learn which prophet possesses what spiritual status and rank. Important note: God called every prophet with a unique name which served as their respective kalima and means of recognition for the following of the prophets. These names were in his own language, Suryani. By declaring the respective kalima, one gets admitted into the following of the prophet. Declaring thrice is the condition. After his admittance into the following of the prophet, the more frequently one repeats these words, the more purified he gets. The chanting of these words at the time of adversity becomes a rescue. In the grave also, these words happen to soften the accountability. Even for entry into the paradise, repetition of these words is the condition. Followings of all prophets are advised to memorize these words and recite them at dawn and at dusk as much as they can. You may read the celestial books in your own language for the purpose of guidance. However, for worship, the original text of the original book renders more spiritual benefits. Declarations of the Mursaleen, the Grand Prophets. The Christian motto: La ilaha illallah, Isa Ruhallah. None other is deity, Ilah, for except Allah, God. Jesus is Spirit of God. The Jewish motto: La ilaha illallah, Musa Kalim Allah. None other is deity, for except Allah. Moses talks to Allah. The Abrahamic motto: La ilaha illallah, Ibrahim Khalil Allah. None other is deity, for except Allah. Abraham is friend of Allah. The Muslim motto: La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasul Allah. None other is deity, for except Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. The Hindu and Sikh religions are linked with the religions of Adam and Noah. Since Adam revered the holy black stone, they adopted the ritual of worshipping idols. Those who survived from the great hurricane of Noah propagated in India. Indian gurus obtained spiritual knowledge and spiritual grace from Kidhar also. The names such as of Adam, Shankarji, and Kidhar, Vishnu Maharaj, are found in the wordings of their prayers. Followers of all religions, regardless of the different languages they speak, should recite these kalimas in Suryani, for they are the source of their recognition and salvation. Common folks need to remember God and their respective messenger at least 33 times a day, in the morning and the evening. One ought to remember God 99 times to be protected from worldly problems on a daily basis, in the morning and in the evening, or as much as one may be able to do. One should remember God 5,000 times to prevent calamity in advance. More than one person may collectively remember God, ranging from 25,000 to 72,000 times. and the maximum figure is 125,000 times in one sitting. In order to purify the heart and to efface the black spots of sins, according to a prophetic tradition, an angel is appointed to every human being to place black spots on their hearts as a result of committing sins. Do a breathing exercise. Inhale, La ilaha illallah, and exhale the second part of the kalima. Concentrate on the heart while exhaling. In acquiring love and the proximity of God, there is yet another method, which is difficult without God's will. According to the method mentioned here, one has to turn the heartbeats into a constant rosary and synchronize just the word Allah alone in the beating system. Do this exercise daily as much as you can. Dhikr, invocation, can start in some people without them having to concentrate on it, while others have to concentrate, and some others, after the revival of qalb and ruh, soul, can feel it at all times. God's friends invoke God's name 72,000 times a day, whereas God's lovers reach the figure of 125,000 times a day. And when other subtleties also engage in God's remembrance, even the Karaman Katibin, the appointed angels who keep the record of good deeds, fail to count the frequency. Some of the seekers remain on land, and some others reach the domain of God. Some others have spiritual access to the Kaaba, and some others are in God's audience. Tariq-e-Qalb by His Divine Eminence R.A. Gohar Shahi. Those who practice a religion had better visualize their respective prophet's name as well as Allah to balance the heat of the word Allah. Recite the kalima of their prophet until the state of Jalal, Jazbi, and Wajd ends. Also, visualize the spiritual guide you have met in person to utilize his spiritual power to write word Allah on your heart. Those who do not practice a religion may or may not have a predestined spiritual guide. They ought to visualize the names of all 5 grand messengers categorically, and also the saint they believe in and have met. Then, whomever they belong to will begin to speak in them. In short, they will begin to love, be inclined, and directed towards him. Once upon a time in history, people of the celestial books were united. They were allowed to share food among each other, and inter-religion marriages were allowed as well. Similarly, in the present era, people of Zikr will be united. People of the celestial books were united and gathered temporarily as the book was confined to their tongue. It did not enter their hearts only. It vanished away. People of the heart invocation shall be permanent, as the name of God and its divine light would enter their bloodstream and heart. It is difficult for the illness that has entered the blood, or love that has entered the blood, to come out from it. Water does not form into electricity until it is splashed together. Milk is churned to produce butter. Similarly, repetition of the original verses of celestial books creates divine light. Repetition of verses and the names of divine attributes produces Sifati Nur. Its access is up to the Malaika. This is Bil Wasta, requires medium. This is the stage of Wadat al-Wajud. Nur, produced by repetition of the personal name of God, Allah, has direct access to God, and this is Bila Wasta. This relates to Wadat al-Shahud. Some people love, respect, and honor their prophet and saints. However, they bear animosity for the prophets and saints of other religions. Such people are very unlikely to earn any spiritual status from God because they talk ill of those whom God loves. It is God Himself who appointed them into different religions. Eyewitness accounts of a few selected loving souls. Story of a predestined loving soul. I passed through a forest in America at midnight. I saw that a man was prostrating and weeping before a tree. When I returned after an hour or so, he was still in the same state. I got closer and stopped. He felt my presence and raised his head from the prostration. He complained to me, "Why did you disturb me?" I said, "I am also in search of God. I wonder how you would find God through a tree. You should find God through a religion." He said, "I do not know the original language of the celestial books of the Quran and the Bible, nor am I satisfied with their translation because they contradict each other strongly. Hence, it is impossible to believe that these books were sent by the same God. According to one celestial book, God says, "Jesus is my son." And in the other book, God says, "I do not have any sons." I have wasted a great deal of my valuable time in futile study of these books. Now, I have adopted another way of finding God. For example, this tree is so beautiful, which suggests that God loves this tree. Maybe God will direct me towards him through this tree. He was a predestined, loving soul who was in search for God according to his intellect. Can such people be sent into the hell? Such people are known as helpless, mazur, and it is such people who, from a dog to Katmir, will enter the paradise. Katmir also did not have a religion. Miss Catherine of Arizona, USA, tells her story. I received the initiation of heart invocation from Angela. Angela informed me, "Consider that God has accepted you if your heart is activated with God's remembrance within the next 7 days. Otherwise, your life is a waste." I burst into tears when my heart was yet to be activated and the limit of 7 days was over. I wailed in anguish the following night, and the same night, my heart became alive with God's remembrance. It has been 3 years since then. Catherine does not believe in the age factor. However, she believes in holistic health. Similarly, she does not believe in religions, but in divine love. She asserts, "God's remembrance has increased divine love in my heart, and this is enough for me." Meeting with a Hindu guru. I was then in the mountains of Ceylon. I would often visit the tomb of Lal Shahbaz Qalandar. I saw a man sat in the yard of the tomb, flocked by many of his Hindu followers who seemed to be very respectful to him. I asked, "Who is this holy man?" "He is a Hindu sage," said the men. "He is an enlightened conscience, and our prayers reach Lal Shahbaz Qalandar and are answered through him." Many Muslims also respected him. One day I passed by a rock. I saw the same person prostrating and reciting something before an idol, which he had placed in front of him. We met at the shrine the following day. I said to him, "I do not understand why an enlightened conscience person like yourself worships an idol." He replied, "I too do not take it, the idol, as my Lord. However, I believe, and it is also verified by your celestial books, that God created man in his own image. Hence, I carve and worship idols of different shapes to arrive at the true image of God." He said, "You too are an enlightened conscience. You tell me how God looks and which of the idols he resembles, so that I may bring him in my heart." When I, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, was 16 or 17 years of age, I was reciting a verse of Surah Muzammil, the Quran, at the shrine of my ancestral saint, Gohar Ali Shah, when suddenly a tall man in the guise of a fakir appeared before me and said, "You are wasting your time." He had a saintly face, so I remained quiet, but deep down in my heart I thought, he must be a Satan, and he came to stop me from the recitation of the Quran. After a while, I was 35 years of age, and my heart had started to engage in God's remembrance. I would recite the verse Muzammil according to the prescribed method, and then I would pause momentarily to allow my heart to recite it. One day, when I was ecstatically engaged in this exercise, the same tall fakir appeared as before and said, "Now you are reciting the Quran. The remedy is ineffective until the medicine enters the stomach. Nothing is obtained until the divine word enters the heart." Then he said the following stanza, "There are many who remember God by tongue. However, very few are aware of the art of God's remembrance by the heart. And it is the God's lovers who remember him by their hearts, and the tonguisters are unaware of such a bounty." When I had said the prayers, Salat, in Thata Mosque, I saw an elderly man taking care of the worshippers' shoes. Since I was in the last row, therefore, it seemed to me that he did not say the prayers, Salat, and only took care of the shoes. As I was leaving, I said, You did not say the prayers, Salat. What reward do you expect by taking care of the shoes? He said, Prayers? Salat? I never said it all my life. I do not anticipate salvation through Salat in this old age now. I now live on hope that one of these people may be God's friends, and that my act may please God or his friend. I, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, said, No act supersedes the act of prayers, Salat. The elderly man said, Nothing is greater than God's friend if you have pleased him. After 3 years of austerities, when I reached the gathering of Prophet Muhammad, I saw the same elderly man sitting beside the feet of the Prophet. I recalled the stanza, Sinners reached the holy court. The pious and righteous were left in the state of awe. Introduction to the person of His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi was born on November 25, 1941, in a small village of the Indian subcontinent, Dok Gohar Shah, district of Rawalpindi. The mother of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi is a descendant of Fatima al-Zahra, meaning Sadat family, progeny of Fatima, from the grandsons of Syed Gohar Ali Shah. The father of His Divine Eminence is a descendant of one of the maternal grandsons of Syed Gohar Ali Shah, and his grandfather comes from the Mughal family. His Divine Eminence developed inclination towards shrines of the saints since his childhood. The father of His Divine Eminence says, at the age of 5 to 6 years, His Divine Eminence would disappear, and we would find him sitting at the shrine of Nizam-ud-Din Auliya in New Delhi, India. Occasionally, it seemed to me that His Divine Eminence was talking to Nizam-ud-Din Auliya. This incident dates back to the time when the father of His Divine Eminence resided in Delhi for his job. When His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi visited India in March 1997, the caretaker of the shrine of the Saint Nizam-ud-Din, upon the instructions of the soul of Nizam-ud-Din Auliya, placed the turban of honor on the head of His Divine Eminence. Since childhood, whatever His Divine Eminence predicted came true. Hence, I would fulfill all his reasonable wishes. The father of His Divine Eminence says, Gohar Shahi, as per his routine, comes out to the lawn in the house every morning, and I stand in respect to greet him. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi disapproves of this and says, I feel shy, as I am your son, so do not stand in respect for me. The father of His Divine Eminence says that he always explains that he stands in respect for the presence of God that dwells in His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Amir Hussain, a teacher from Mora Noori Primary School, recollects, I am famous for being a stern teacher in the area. I used to penalize the naughty kids. His Divine Eminence would sometimes reach the school late, and when I would want to punish His Divine Eminence, I would feel as if somebody had gotten hold of the stick, and I would end up smiling. Remarks of the family members and friends of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi. We never saw His Divine Eminence arguing, fighting, or beating up anybody. If any of his friends was angry and wanted to get physical, His Divine Eminence would simply smile. Remarks by wife of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Firstly, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi is hardly ever angry. However, His Divine Eminence expresses intense reactions against immorality and indecency. His Divine Eminence is exceptionally generous. In the morning, when His Divine Eminence leaves for the meeting with daily visitors in the lawn of the house, his pockets are full of money. However, when His Divine Eminence returns, the pockets are empty. His Divine Eminence gives away all the money to the needy. When I am in need of money, His Divine Eminence shows an innocent face, thus I get angry. Looking at his innocent face, I say a couplet, Thou art so generous by heart, but parted with all the wealth. Remarks by sons of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Our father, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, is very affectionate towards us and sees to our needs. But when we ask our father for money, he gives us but a small sum. Our father says, You will be spending extravagantly. We say to our Father, either you give us plenty of money or turn us into a fakir. Remarks by the mother of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi. During his childhood, when he would not go to school for a day or two, or if he suffered a business loss later in life, I would criticize him, but he would never raise his head in response. My spiritual guide, Kakamiyan from the village of Shams, would advise me, do not swear at Riaz. You do not know what I see in him. He has so much sympathy for humanity that when he would find out that a passenger bus had broken down even at a distance of 10 miles, he would get food prepared for the passengers and would take it to them riding his bicycle. Remarks by Muhammad Iqbal of Fazulian, a close friend of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi. Muhammad Iqbal says, in the rainy season, as we would walk through the fields, we would walk on the trail, and countless ants also would be crawling there. We did not care about them, but His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi would always avoid walking on the trail, lest the ants are harmed or run over. His Divine Eminence would prefer to wade in the mud instead. When a false case of murder was instigated against His Divine Eminence, Qudus Sheikh of the crime branch of the police department came for inquiry. The residents of the area told him, we don't think His Divine Eminence would have ever killed a mosquito, let alone a human being. Remarks on the aunt of His Divine Eminence, Gohar Shahi. I was then a student of the 8th grade. One day my aunt, who was very religious and a committed worshiper but possessed greed and jealousy also, exoteric worshippers normally possess such vices, told me everything else was fine in me, for except that I did not observe ritual prayers, salat. I said to my aunt that salat was a gift of God, and that I did not want to send forth bukhl, takabur, hasad, and kina, grudge, mixed with the prayer. I would observe salat whenever I could do it correctly, unlike her, who observed the prayer and at the same time was involved in great sins like backbiting and slandering. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi recollects his childhood stories. Since the age of 10 to 12, I began to speak with God in dreams. I used to see Beit al-Mamur, however, I was unaware of its reality. After I had gone through the austerities, all those scenes and conversation with God were repeated, and thus the reality was unfolded. Once my uncle, who was in the National Army and who would often visit the brothel, took me with him to escape the doubts of the family because they would not allow him. He would give me tea and biscuits and would go inside the brothel. I was unaware of brothels and prostitutes. My uncle would tell me that these brothels are the offices for women. After some time, I began to feel disgusted with the place. My uncle said, God has created women for this purpose only. In other words, my uncle tried to incite me to do the same. My uncle's words disturbed me. I could not sleep all night struggling with my nafs, and then suddenly I fell asleep. I saw a large, round, elevated platform, and I was standing below. I heard a loud voice from above it. Bring him forth. I noticed that 2 men held my uncle and brought him forward. They pointed towards him, indicating that he was the one. The voice was heard again. Beat him with the metal bars. The men started beating him. He then screamed, roared, and eventually his face turned into that of a swine. The voice was heard again. If you do the same, you will suffer the same. I then repented, sought forgiveness, after which I woke up with these words on my tongue. My Lord, I repent. My Lord, I repent. The effects of this dream stayed with me for a few years. The next day, I was traveling towards my village on a bus. I noticed that a few robbers were trying to pull out a cassette player from a taxi. When the driver resisted, they killed him with knives. Our bus stopped at the scene. The robbers escaped when they saw us. The driver died in agony before our eyes. The truth that life is so uncertain crossed my mind. At night, as I was about to sleep, the following verse began echoing in my mind. Forgive all my errors. I have come and fallen at your holy court. I cried all night long. Sometime after this event, I renounced the world and went to the tomb of the Saint Jam Datar. But I didn't find my destiny there either. My brother-in-law brought me back to the world. At the age of 34, Bari Imam appeared before me. He said, your time has come to return to the jungle. After 3 years of seclusion and retreat, when I had obtained some spiritual experience, I went to the tomb of Jam Datar. He appeared before me. I said, if I had been accepted earlier, I would have avoided a carnal lifestyle. He replied, the time was not appropriate then. Some selected features of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi's esoteric personality. God deployed one of His subspirits, Jusa-e-Tawfiq-e-Ilahi, with His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi at the age of 19, which stayed with His Divine Eminence for a year, and under the influence of which His Divine Eminence tore away his clothes and went into the jungle of Jam Datar with a piece of cloth wrapped around his body. The presence of the sub-spirit of God with His Divine Eminence was but temporary yet, and it would be absent for the following 14 years. In the year 1975, the same divine sub-spirit was the reason for His Divine Eminence's retreat in the jungle of Sewan. At the age of 25, Jusa-e-Gohar Shahi, the sub-spirit of Gohar Shahi, was coronated as the commander of the esoteric cavalry. Thanks to this, His Divine Eminence has been protected against the mischief of terrestrial Satans and the forces of evil. Jusa-e-Tawfiq-e-Ilahi, God's sub-spirit, and Tifl-e-Nuri, body of God's light, are some supreme divine entities and are superior to all souls, archangels, and esoteric human faculties. And like the archangels, they are directly linked with God. Their maqam, station, is the Alam-e-Adiyat, the realm of divine oneness. At the age of 35, on the 15th of Ramadan, 1976, a sperm of light, Nutfa-e-Nur, was placed in the heart, subtlety of Qalb, of His Divine Eminence. After some time, the Tifl-e-Nuri, body of God's light, was taken to various places for spiritual learning. On the 15th of Ramadan, 1985, when His Divine Eminence had already been assigned to the worldly duty in Hyderabad, Pakistan, the same sperm of light, having grown up into a Tifl-e-Nuri, was delivered permanently. Through this Tifl-e-Nuri, His Divine Eminence was coronated in the court of Muhammad as Sultan, King of Spiritual Poverty, Fakr. Tifl-e-Nuri is granted the rank after 12 years. However, it was awarded to His Divine Eminence in 9 years only because of his assignment in the world. What is Jashan-e-Shahi and the reasons why it is celebrated? On the 15th of Ramadan, 1977, a series of unique, secretive conversations, ilhamat or inspiration, with God also began. The promise of Radia Mardia, your will is my will is your will, took place, and rank was also granted. Since every rank, martaba, and ascension, miraj, is related to the 15th of Ramadan, this is why, in order to express feelings of happiness and thanksgiving, Jashan-e-Shahi is celebrated every year. In the year 1978, His Divine Eminence moved to Hyderabad, Sindh, and began to shower the grace of divine guidance on mankind. And in a short span of time, His spiritual grace spread throughout the world. The hearts of millions of people were revived with God's remembrance. God's name, Allah, was imprinted on the hearts of millions of people, and they witnessed it on their hearts. Hundreds of thousands of people acquired access to Kashf al-Kabur, the ability to speak to the subtlety of nafs of the departed saints, and Kashf al-Hudur, access to the court of Muhammad. His Divine Eminence has cured millions of people with terminal diseases. After having received the teachings and guidance from His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, the people from every religion, every nationality, and every race acquired the love of God and began to reach the essence of God. By God, I too am from those people on whose hearts the name Allah is so beautifully written and shining. Sheikh Nizamuddin, Maryland, USA. exhaustive explanation about the images on the sun and the moon. His Divine Eminence's fame reached all four corners of the globe on account of his spiritual sciences and widespread lectures across the nations. In the year 1994, in Manchester, some individuals pointed out the image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi on the moon. Similar eyewitness accounts were reported from Pakistan and various other countries also. Live images of the moon were recorded by video camera. Images of the moon were obtained from NASA and foreign countries. The images were dull in the beginning, however. Within 2 years, the images became so vivid and clear that binoculars and computers were not needed to spot them. In 1996, our correspondent Zafar Hussain pointed out the existence of these images to NASA. They replied, "We are aware of the existence of a facial image on the moon. This is the face of Jesus Christ, which is a formation of light 200 miles long." American citizens also insisted that NASA give some explanations regarding this picture. But, for the reason of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi being Asian, NASA maintained silence. In his book, Pictorial Astronomy, Professor Dinsmore Alter, a professor in NASA and an expert in astronomy, made changes in the picture and presented it in the form of a woman. It spread a rumor in the entire Christian missionary that a picture of Lady Mary exists on the moon. When the news was published in Pakistani newspapers, many people verified the existence of the picture on the moon after they investigated the matter thoroughly. Some made a mockery of this matter without carrying out any investigation. Some regarded it to be an act of sorcery. After some time, there was talk of the existence of the picture in space. However, it did not manage to earn the attention of common folks, for except the following of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. In 1998, the Parcham, a daily newspaper, published a news item that a human face is visible in the holy black stone. We were already aware of it. We possessed some marked up pictures of the holy black stone, and almost every follower of His Divine Eminence also had investigated the matter thoroughly. We remained silent to avoid potential uproar and mischief. The newspaper reports encouraged us, and we also issued a press release and our statement regarding the matter. Almost all Muslims investigated the matter because the matter was closely linked with their faith. A majority of them were convinced of its truthfulness. The image was so clear that it was next to impossible to deny it. However, some people labeled it as an act of magic. The images of the moon and the holy black stone were publicized and promulgated in almost all countries of the world. Saudi Arabia and its supporters were utterly displeased, as though His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi himself had placed his image in the holy black stone. They exclaimed, "Images are prohibited in Islam. How could an image appear on the holy black stone?" They failed to acknowledge that God's signs cannot be prohibited. Saudi Arabia acquired a decree from its Sharia religious courts that His Divine Eminence was wajib al-qatal, deserving of the death penalty. If His Divine Eminence sets his foot on Saudi soil, he should be assassinated. In Pakistan also, pro-Saudi sectarian elements are trying their hardest to eradicate His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and his teachings. False charges and cases of blasphemy, Section PPC 295, against His Divine Eminence have been instigated. Assassination attempts have been made on His Divine Eminence several times. Now the picture of His Divine Eminence is visible on the sun also. We have contacted the Pakistani government regarding the cases and have invited them to examine and investigate the images. However, the government has denied these divine signs under the influence of the sectarian elements. Moreover, the Nawaz Sharif government influenced the provincial government of Sindh to also trap, suppress, and eradicate His Divine Eminence. Presently, we ask the military regime to also carry out a just investigation of these images, divine signs, and demand that these images must not be denied under any fear, pressure, or influence from sectarian elements. These divine signs are meant to eradicate mischief, not the opposite. And it is evidently obvious, because His Divine Eminence's message and teachings are based on God's love and global peace, which have attracted people of all religions to reform and purify themselves. And today, all the Hindus, the Muslims, the Sikhs, and the Christians are becoming united because of their mutual love and respect for His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. This is the first time in history that a spiritual leader has been invited and respectfully seated on the pulpit of worship places of all the major religions, such as churches, gurdwaras, and Hindu temples, for lectures and sermons. Such a person, His Divine Eminence, who is divinely anointed and is the pride of the country, should be encouraged. God manifests His signs to elaborate the truthfulness of His Divine Eminence, and the alchemy of His Divine Eminence's eyes revives hearts of humankind with God's remembrance and turns them into God's lovers. Theologians and groups that are enemies of the saints and the household of Prophet Muhammad are very entrenched against His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. They are trying to divert the attention of the public from Hajar al-Aswad, holy black stone, by their instigation of bogus cases, baseless plots, and negative propaganda against His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. This is a very important and sensitive matter. The faith of the Muslims is in jeopardy. Why is the investigation in this matter not taken up? There has been so much propaganda in the world, both negative and positive, regarding the holy black stone, that it has become impossible to suppress it. Even the scholars who believe in the saints observed silence due to their grudge and jealousy towards Gohar Shahi. Since the image is so clear and they cannot deny it, now they say that the moon is under the effect of magic. Remember well, Prophet Muhammad said, "Any act of magic is ineffective on and to the moon." They allege that even the holy black stone is under the effect of magic. Food for thought. If the Kaaba also is under the effect of magic, then the Muslims are left with hardly any place for sanctuary and protection of faith. They say, even Prophet Muhammad once was affected by magic, and the Kaaba is not greater than Prophet Muhammad. Verily, magic was cast on Prophet Muhammad. However, God sent the verse of Wanaz to nullify the effects of the magic. You also are advised to recite the verse of Wanaz to nullify the effects of magic, if any, on the moon and the holy black stone. In case the verse Wanaz further brightens up the images instead of nullifying them, then you will have to admit the truth. Otherwise, you are possessed by Abu Jahal, the father of ignorance. Miraculous images of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi. Moon. In the 1991 Summer-Fall edition of the Phoenix Official Visitor's Guide, the image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi on the moon is clearly visible. Image courtesy of Boot Traverse, photographer. A close-up of the image of the moon from the Phoenix Official Visitor's Guide cover. It has been blurred, so the face of His Divine Eminence is further prominent. According to this letter from the photographer, the enlargement of the moon, which I photographed over downtown Phoenix in February 1990, does have the likeness of a man in profile when viewed rotated 90 degrees. His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi. On the left, an unaltered image of the moon. On the right, the face of His Divine Eminence has been digitally superimposed for ease of comparison. The face of His Divine Eminence alongside an enlarged image of the moon in different phases, with the image of His Divine Eminence visible throughout. His Divine Eminence's face has been indicated. Various poses of the true images of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. A photograph of the moon released by NASA. Source, news release. Hubble shots of the moon, April 16, 1999. By John Coldwell and Alex Stars in association with NASA. http://hubblesite.org/news center/archive/releases/1999/14. More details about the moon are on the next page. God said, "We will show you our signs in the near future, in the universe and within yourselves, until you believe this is the truth. Look for his signs in the skies, in the land, and in space. The signs belong to the one who will appear from the east." Allama Iqbal. The image of the moon has been rotated in an anti-clockwise direction. By doing this, the images on the moon become clearly visible. The comparisons between various pictures of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and images of the moon show that the face on the moon is indeed of His Divine Eminence. The images were taken from the book Pictorial Astronomy, the moon, and a sketch beside it depicting the likeness of a woman. When it was revealed in the United States that the image on the moon is of a person of Asian origin and whose features suggest that he is a Muslim, subsequently, the image was rotated clockwise. The photograph above, 1, is an original photograph of the moon. The photograph, 2, relates to the moon also. This has been modified. A part of the face and beard have been altered to show hair of the head, while deleting the face, which is clean-shaven. Photograph 3, above, depicts the attempt Dinsmore made to portray it as a woman's, so that viewers would be misled into believing that it is the image of the Virgin Mary. The chin has been shortened in the photograph, the neck profile made smooth, and the eyes elongated. A distortion of the signs of God is not a good omen, as these images will soon become apparent throughout the whole world. Images of the moon published in various articles and printed by many companies. Whether you are in the east or the west, try taking a photograph of the moon with your personal camera from any angle, and you will see these images. Another example of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi's face on an image of the moon printed by a third party. Source: Collins Skywatching, The Ultimate Guide to the Universe, page 235, 1995, English edition, by David Levy. Sun. The given photograph of the sun is released by NASA. Source: NASA's SOHO Solar Observatory, December 29, 1999. The above image of the sun has been rotated clockwise to reveal various images of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi that are present in the sun. Verily, the moon and the sun show signs of your grandeur. Nevertheless, the evidence of your truthfulness is in you dwelling in my heart. Yunus Al-Gohar. A NASA photograph of the sun on which the matching image of Gohar Shahi is seen very clearly. Space. This article discusses the findings of NASA in relation to a face in space estimated by NASA scientists to be the size of 150 suns. The article talks about how strange it is that the face in space had never been discovered before, given its size. According to astronomer Isaac Hawkins of Atlanta, Georgia, this is plainly the image of a man's face far, far off in the universe. The article explains how this miraculous image was clearly distinguishable one moment and then astonished observers by somehow retreating from view the next moment. The article speculates that the image is something on a technologically advanced level. This discovery was also the first due to which NASA consulted with theologians, as the idea that this could be the face of God had crossed their minds. Source: NASA finds massive face in space by Whitney Ask, Weekly World News, May 7, 1996. A comparison between the image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and the face that appeared in space. Source: Muskurahat Monthly Magazine, Lahore. This image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi is in fact a spiritual entity known as Tifl-e-Nuri. Only special saints have been known to possess this. References are found in various books by Sufis. Black stone. A human face is discovered on the black stone, Hajar al-Aswad, in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. According to this article, Sheikh Hamad bin Abdallah stated in relation to the appearance of a human face in the holy black stone. Spiritualists in Mecca say that this is the face of the awaited Imam Mahdi. Source: a human face discovered on the holy black stone in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Staff reporter, The Daily Parcham, Karachi, Pakistan, May 26, 1998. According to this report, it is said amongst spiritual circles that in addition to his facial image becoming prominent on the sun and moon, the face on the holy black stone is that of Riaz Ahmed Gohar Shahi of Pakistan. Above, a clipping of the monthly Great God magazine's article about the image on the holy black stone. The article speculates whether the face is of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and shows a comparison between an image of His Divine Eminence and an image of the holy black stone, which has been digitally contrasted to highlight the face within it. The image is so clear that no one can deny its existence. Many are saying that the image is the face of the awaited Imam Mahdi A.S. An excerpt from this newspaper article. According to a facsimile received from Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Hamad bin Abdallah has issued a press release from Mecca. It states that prior to the pilgrimage, clear signs of a human image were visible on the holy black stone. The image is inverted. For this reason is not visible at first sight, but it can be clearly seen once it has been pointed out. Sheikh Hamad bin Abdallah has said that there could be two reasons for this image. Either it has appeared naturally, or perhaps it is man-made. As the black stone is heavily guarded by officials, and given that there are masses of pilgrims around it at all times, it is unlikely that any person would be courageous enough to make and place an image on the black stone. The question arises, if the image has always been on the black stone, then why has no one noticed it? This is the unaltered cover of a textbook on religion, published by the government of Punjab. It is inverted here to show the human image that is clearly visible within the holy black stone. Source: Diniyat, Year 3. By the Pakistani Textbook Depot, Lahore. Images of the holy black stone, in which a human form has naturally appeared and is visible when viewed upside down. It is highlighted on the far right for easy recognition. Source: Mirza Library, Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The images on the far left and the far right are of the holy black stone. Their contrast has been brought up as to emphasize the human figure within. Source: Mirza Library, Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The middle image is of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. These images taken from Mirza Library and the Pakistani textbook are upright. When upright, another image is seen in the holy black stone. It has been isolated on the far left. The image is marked and highlighted for easy recognition here. It is also of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. At the age of 25, Jusa-e Gohar Shahi, the sub-spirit of Gohar Shahi, was coronated as the commander of the esoteric cavalry. Nebula. This photograph has recently appeared on a planetary nebula, a sun-like star. It was released by NASA. For further details, please visit http://www.spacedaily.com/news/hubble-oob1.html. The image of the Eskimo Nebula, taken by NASA, has been rotated in an anti-clockwise direction to reveal a face with something written on it. It is indicated and compared to an image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. The original photograph of NGC 2392 has been rotated to expose more images of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Many people say these images are simply imagination. Imagination is confined to one who imagines. Imagination cannot be captured on camera. Others declare it to be telepathy or mesmerism. However, Places of worship, the land and the sky, cannot be subject to telepathy or magic. If this is the case, then where is the truth? Some others say that the United States has received money to digitally place the images in these celestial bodies. Is Gohar Shahi wealthier than the USA? If it were possible to place these images, then the United States would have used the image of the Pope as to benefit its religion and country. Mars. Source of image: The Martian Enigmas, A Closer Look, by Mark J. Carlotto, 1992. Two faces in one picture when rotated at 180 degrees. Images featured in the article are from The Martian Enigmas, A Closer Look, by Mark J. Carlotto, 1992. Source of image: The Martian Enigmas, A Closer Look, by Mark J. Carlotto, 1992. Professor Mark J. of Boston University, having researched and verified these photographs, published them in his book. NASA has taken these photographs from different angles and different views. Visit the following website: http://science.gov/2001/AST2040MAY_1/. Source of image 3: http://www.tlig.org/pg/pgjesus.html. When this picture is straight, the image of Jesus Christ is visible. When turned upside down, the image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi is visible. Science and technology. In 1998, the Mars Global Surveyor took pictures of Mars. On the surface of Mars, there was a rock found which resembled the face of a human being. It was 1 mile long and 2,000 feet high. It was made by beings that were similar to us and had lived there in the past. An astronomer, Dr. Frania, says, "This is the proof of the one we have been awaiting for a long time." A translated excerpt in regards to the face on Mars from Science and Technology, the Jang Sunday Magazine, Pakistan, published on March 18, 2001. People ask, "Why do you publicize these images?" We reply, "These images are signs from God. They have purpose and indicate to the seekers of the truth that they may approach God through this man who is God's existing representative. It is the signal for both the sinners and those who do not believe in any religion, that they too should adopt the way of guidance and find salvation through the divine knowledge that God has bestowed upon him. God has made this knowledge simple and easy in accordance with your nature." Jesus Christ met His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi in New Mexico during the year of 1997. The news, along with the above photographs, was published in the August 15, 1997 edition of the weekly Payam, Manchester, UK. Sada-e-Sarfrosh, Pakistan, a fortnightly magazine, published the same news in September 1997. The BBC broadcasted this news on GMR Radio, UK, in October 1997. Research into this matter is encouraged. Source of image: The Martian Enigmas, A Closer Look, page 27, by Mark J. Carlotto, 1992. In the above picture, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and Jesus Christ are facing each other. This news clipping appeared in the newspaper Pakistan Post, New York, dated June 14, 2001. It was also published in the Nawa-e-Waqt, UK, on June 29, 2001. In addition to Mars, images of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi have appeared on Nebula Star, Moon, and various other places. Visit our website, www.goharshahi.gs. People often inquire whether it is the truth. If it is not, then we are blatant liars. Curse upon liars. An insight into the manifestation of human images in the Moon, Mars, and various other planets. Jesus Christ is symbolic to divinity, a towering personality, and enjoys a close relationship to God, hence needs no formal introduction at all. His fame stands out. Images of Jesus Christ have appeared on many planets and locations. Many individuals of the present era are fortunate enough to have met Jesus Christ in person. His divine eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, is also present on Earth. His divine eminence is always on the move and does not stay in one specific home. The images of his divine eminence are prominent on various planets, including Mars. His divine eminence has penned some remarkable books on spirituality, which are available at www.goharshahi.com. His divine eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, comes from Pakistan and advocates spiritual sciences and Sufism. His divine eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, says, "I am neither a prophet nor an apostle. Nevertheless, I have the full support of Muhammad, the founder of Islam, Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity, and many other prophets." His divine eminence says, "A non-religious individual who possesses God's love in his heart is better than a religious one who doesn't love God." The Muslim clerics ask His Divine Eminence to say that the Muslims are the best among all. On contrary to this, His Divine Eminence says, "The best among all is one who possesses God's love, no matter what religion he belongs to." Number 2, the Muslim clerics say, "The right of entry to the paradise is subject to declaration of the Muslim faith." His Divine Eminence says, "The souls are to enter the paradise, whereas the bodies will be left in this world. The enlightened souls will affirm the declaration of faith upon its entry to the paradise. Every soul will be required to affirm the declaration of faith of its respective prophet and religion, and the Muslim declaration of faith is confined to the Muslims only." One Muslim faction says, "Spirituality, knowledge that deals in purification and enlightenment of the heart, and Sufism is all unholy." On contrary to this, His Divine Eminence says, "Without the purification of the heart, all worship is unholy, insincere, and a total waste." According to the Muslim faith, a soul takes one birth only. According to His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi's book, The Religion of God, only the celestial soul takes a single birth in this world, whereas the terrestrial souls may take several births in different bodies. Because of such beliefs of His Divine Eminence, many Muslims have turned hostile towards His Divine Eminence. It is because of such beliefs of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi that the Pakistani government has banned his book. Bombs were thrown at him on several occasions. Many Muslim organizations have announced rewards on his head. The Pakistani government has trapped His Divine Eminence in false cases of blasphemy against Islam. His Divine Eminence, Ra Gohar Shahi, does not propagate any religion, but advocates divine love and renders practical teachings that of bringing God and His love in the heart. His Divine Eminence says, "God Himself will guide you once you are connected with God." Many of the disciples of His Divine Eminence can see God's name written on their hearts while they meditate. His Divine Eminence says, "God's name in any language is worthy of respect, and spiritual grace can be obtained from its practice." People of all religions love Him. His Divine Eminence has delivered lectures on spirituality in mosques, Hindu temples, Sikh temples, and churches in the UK, the USA, Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Through His spiritual power, His Divine Eminence has healed numerous people who suffered from incurable ailments. Dare not reject the divine signs on account of any religious, racial, or national bias or prejudice. Beware. God has anointed His Divine Eminence to reform, unify, and connect humanity with God. Look for Him and personally research in His doctrine and personality. Any organization or individual wishing to obtain information about His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi may contact us. We are committed to provide all necessary information justly. After politicians use their influence, NASA at last acknowledged the existence of human images on Mars. There are images on various other planets which NASA has yet concealed. NASA is still reluctant to verify the identity of whom the images resemble. Disturbing controversies. The Cydonia region of Mars. http://creation-science-prophecy.com/links.htm. Contact +440790002676 +440772-473-4130 Eunice 380@yahoo.co.uk Amjad Gohar 75@yahoo.com. In an August 8, 2001 letter to Mr. Sonny Peter of the UK, NASA stated, on July 25, 1976, as NASA's Viking 1 spacecraft was circling the planet Mars, photographing the surface for possible landing sites for its sister ship, Viking 2, the spacecraft took a picture of a feature in the Cydonia region of the planet that resembled the shadowy likeness of a human face. A headline from a Pakistani newspaper about His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. I appeal to the Pakistani government and its officials to carry out a thorough investigation into the existence of my images on the moon and Hajar al-Aswad, holy black stone. If these images prove to be truthful, the government should support me so that the teachings of divine love may be propagated throughout the world, so that it may relatively become easy to unify the hearts of humanity, and so people may guide themselves in their desired direction. Should the above given details be proved wrong, the government deserves the right to punish and persecute. Undersigned, Ra Gohar Shahi. Above is a clipping from an article by the Daily Mehran about an image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi on the sacred stone in the Shiv temple in Umar Kot, Sindh, Pakistan. Countless people are coming with great affection to see the images. The Daily Mehran, Hyderabad, Pakistan. The popular Sindhi newspaper, the Daily Mehran, published the news of the discovery of an image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi on the sacred stone within the Shiv temple near Umar Kot in its June 6, 1998 edition. Hindus are gathering with great affection and interest to see the image. A pamphlet was distributed in regards to this matter, and subsequently the stone became a focal point for the masses. The Hindu community is joyful and is celebrating the appearance of the image of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. An advertisement introducing His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, given by the local Hindu community in the weekly July 29, 1998 edition of the Day, published in London, UK. This article discusses how many Hindus saw His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi healing them in their dreams. Many of the blind had their sight restored, and many of the mute were able to speak again, a divine phenomenon. On the right hand of His Divine Eminence Ra Gohar Shahi, Muhammad is visible. On the left hand's fingers, the word Allah is visible. Important note. Some people wonder why Allah is inscribed on the left hand's fingers. They regard it as disrespectful for the name Allah to appear on the left hand, subject to its usage for cleaning oneself. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi explains, I could be rightly accused of such an act had I created the fingers myself or somehow managed to inscribe Allah on them. For the best, does only Allah know whether it is a coincidence or a miracle of Allah. The return of Jesus. Jesus Christ meets Gohar Shahi in America. In an interview in London on July 28, 1997, His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi made the following statement. On May 29, 1997, I was at the El Monte Lodge in Taos, New Mexico. During the second half of the night, I felt the presence of a man in my room. There was not enough light, so at first I thought it was one of my followers. I asked him, "Why have you come?" The man replied, "I have come to see you." I turned on the light, and I saw a handsome young man standing before me, whom I did not know. Seeing him, I felt immense energy and spiritual ecstasy in my soul and spiritual entities, a similar spiritual ecstasy that I would feel and experience in the gathering of the higher realms. I learned that he could speak many languages. The young man told me, "I am Jesus, son of Mary. I am in America presently." I asked him, "Where do you live?" He replied, "I neither had a home in the past nor now." When His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi was requested for further details of the meeting, His Divine Eminence replied, "What Jesus and I have discussed is a secret, but I shall reveal it at an appropriate time in future." His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi states, "A few days later, I visited Tucson, Arizona, where somebody showed me a photograph and said, 'It was Jesus.' I instantly recognized the man in the photograph, as he was the same man who appeared in my room at the El Monte Lodge. I asked the owner of the photograph about its origin. He told me, some people took photographs of some sacred places, and surprisingly, this photograph of Jesus emerged from amongst the prints when the film was processed. This man was neither seen nor photographed. I took the photograph of this young man, Jesus, and tried to match it with the one of many images on the moon. I realized that the image on the photograph matched one of the images on the moon. I confirm and verify that this is the true image of Jesus. A magazine in America recently published an article quoting Bible experts regarding the return of Jesus and events leading up to the end of the world. Much of the information published, particularly secret Bible prophecies released by the Vatican in Rome, and the opinions of experts, coincide with this statement made by His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Dear friends, the following Quranic verse is for the present era. Soon we shall unveil our signs in the horizon and even in your own being. Utterances of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. Terrestrial spirits of humankind take several births in various bodies. Terrestrial spirits of purified individuals take birth in pure individuals only. And terrestrial spirits of Prophet Muhammad were preserved for Imam Mehdi only. Just as any separate part of his body, viz., hands or feet, can be regarded and called the jewel of Amina, the Prophet's mother. Similarly, the separate part of the celestial soul of Muhammad can be regarded and called the jewel of Amina and son of Abdullah. The spirits of the Prophet's household, in the other bodies after rebirth, are also included in the Prophet's household. An important point: Mahdi, the guided one; Mehdi, the one of the moon. Word Meh is referred to the moon as it appears in these names: Menaz, which means pride of the moon, and Metab, which means shine of the moon. Yunus Al-Gohar, London, United Kingdom. Yunus380@yahoo.co.uk. Programs. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi began rendering his teachings to the masses in 1980. His message of divine love was acclaimed publicly. Peoples of all religions began to love and revere His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi. In order to acquire dhikr qalb and to benefit from his lectures on spirituality, they invited His Divine Eminence to their respective worship places. This is an extraordinary miracle, unprecedented in history, that His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi lectured from the pulpit of every religious place. There are countless miracles attributed to His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, and some selected miracles are presented here for your perusal and satisfaction. The Christian community in New York invited His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi for a lecture on spirituality in the New Yorker Hotel on October 2nd, 1999. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, addressing a Christian audience in the Central Church of Tucson, Arizona, USA. A photograph of a spiritual gathering in Lahore, Pakistan on April 11th, 1996. The majority of the audience consisted of Hanafi and Sha'afi Muslims. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, addressing the Unitarian Universal Fellowship in Prescott, Arizona, USA, in July 1997. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, delivering a lecture at a Sai Baba temple in Durban, South Africa. The gathering was attended by Sai Baba devotees and ignocalists. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi, speaking at the Nur-e-Iman Mosque in Nazimabad, Karachi, Pakistan. Muslims from the Shia sect attended. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi rendering spiritual grace to a Sikh audience at the Guru Nanak Gurdwara in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. A news clipping from an interview with His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi in the Punjabi Gurmukhi language. On October 17, 1999, the Sikh Society of San Francisco, USA, invited His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi to speak on the subject of divine love. The Sikh Society published His Divine Eminence's speech for the benefit of the local Sikh community. The published piece gave details about the teachings of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi and declared that these teachings should be adopted, for they are a truthful and simple way to find God. A glimpse of His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi addressing Muslims at the Ism-e-Zat conference. His Divine Eminence Gohar Shahi delivering a speech to Hanbali and Maliki Muslims in the Turkish Mosque of Brooklyn, New York, USA. The Gorian terminology. The excerpts from the book for quick awareness. Those who love God but do not practice a religion are better than you if you follow a religion and yet are deprived of God's love. Love relates to the heart. The word Allah, when synchronized within heartbeats, reaches all veins and arteries through the blood and revives the souls. Then the souls, engulfed by God's name, Allah, enter God's love. All names given to God in all languages are worthy of respect. However, God's original name is Allah, which is a word from the Suryani language. The creatures of Empyrean speak this language. The angels call upon God with the name of Allah. Allah is attached with the faith declaration motto of every prophet. Any person who, with all the sincerity of heart, is in search for God, on land or in the sea, is worthy of respect. Many atoms were sent in different regions of the world simultaneously. All atoms were molded from the clay in this world, for except the last Adam who was molded from the clay in paradise and who is buried in the Arab region. The angels did not prostrate to any other Adam, for except Adam Safi Allah, and Iblis, the devil, developed enmity for the progeny of Adam Safi Allah only. There are 7 different sub-spirits in the human skeleton, and each relates to a different realm, a different paradise, and different functions in the human body. If these sub-spirits are empowered with God's light, Nur, they may appear in human form in many places simultaneously. They may reach the esoteric gatherings of the saints and the prophets, speak with God, and even see God in person also. There are 2 different types of religions for all humans. The religion for the body, which expires when the body does, and the other is the religion for the soul, which existed even in the primordial time, that is, God's love. And only this religion elevates humans. Ishq, rapturous love of Allah, is above all other religions, and the seeing of Allah is above all forms of worship. Information on how human beings, animals, plants, and stones were brought into existence, and why something is prohibited or permissible, is enclosed. Who pre-existed the Amrakun, the command B of the souls and the angels? Which dog will enter the paradise in form of Katmir, the souls of which individuals had already affirmed the declaration of faith in the primordial time? The secret of which man is not mentioned in this book. Do study this book for information and research. For the internet version, please visit us on available on Apple's App Store. Search Imam Mehdi, and on the Android market, search Imam Mehdi. This book is available on Apple's iBook Store. Search Religion of God or Gohar Shahi. Amazon's Kindle, Barnes & Noble, including Nook, Kobo Bookstore, Sony's Reader Store, the Diesel Bookstore, Smashwords, and more to come. MFI. People of many religions believe that His divine eminence is the awaited Kalki avatar, Imam Mehdi and Messiah.